Welcome to Fox Football Friday, powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. We are live in Flugerville for the matchup tonight between the Flugerville Panthers and the Round Rock Westwood Warriors. You're looking live at Kimball Stadium, and if it looks familiar, that's because this is the stadium they use in Friday Night Lights, the television show. It's the last week of the regular season, and around the state, some teams are playing for district titles, others are fighting to clinch their playoff spot, and some are simply fine-tuning their squads for their first playoff game. And that's the kind of matchup we have tonight. I'm Angela Heyman. Jeff Power and Travis Stewart are at the Academy Sports Desk on the other side of the field. And we're going to start tonight by looking at the matchup between these two teams. We're going to start with the Westwood Warriors. They are 6-3 overall and 4-1 in district. They've already clinched their playoff spot as a top 5A Division I seed. Their head coach is Anthony Wood. This is his 8th season as Westwood's head coach. That ties him for the longest tenure in school history by a head coach. They're allowing just over 14 points per game, so they have got a stellar defense. This is their 4th year in a row to make the playoffs. And their key player tonight is going to be wide receiver Ty Marshall. He's got 89 catches on the season. He's already broken the school record, which was previously in the low 70s, and he only needs 11 more to get to 100. We move on to the Flugerville Panthers. They're 7-2 overall, 4-1 in district. They've also already clinched a playoff spot, and their head coach is George Herman. This is his 16th season as Flugerville's head coach. They're allowing just over 16 points per game, so they also have a stellar defense. Obviously going to be a matchup of great defenses tonight, and their key player is going to be running back Adrian Dilworth. He's got 143 carries for over 1,000 yards on the season, and he's got 16 touchdowns. We're going to talk more about him later because he's our Built Ford Tough pre-game pick. We're going to send it over to Jeff and Travis at the Academy Sports Desk, and they're going to go over tonight's keys to the game. Guys?
All right, thank you, Angela. Do appreciate that. You know, Westwood has won this matchup 3 out of the last 4 years, including the last 2 right here at Kimball Stadium. Expect maybe a low-scoring game tonight, though. A lot of defense, as Angela was talking about.
And let's start there with the Wendy's keys to the game. And you're right, Jeff, it's really both of these teams know what they're doing on that side of the ball. Some of those defensive numbers you saw earlier, they're even better than 14 per game, as a couple of those touchdowns came on offense and special teams, turnovers and special teams, return punts and whatnot. Anywho, the Flugerville defense, we know they're pretty good. This is, after all, a school that once called Alex Okafor, the Texas defensive end home. They got athletes in the front 7. Westwood's defense, they're not bad either. And that was a talking point for Anthony Wood, the head coach at Westwood, before the game started. He said, hey, we've gotten better offensively, but the biggest difference for us over the years has been a rapidly improving defense. Also explosive Adrian, that is Dilworth, the running back for Flugerville. Underreported this year, but one of the most explosive offensive talents in the Hill Country area, really. And then roll the dice. Well, Jeff, there's not a whole lot to play here for either of these teams tonight. Playoffs already set. Matchup's pretty much already set. So it's really going to be whoever wants to take the most risks. Nothing to gain. I guess there's nothing to lose either, really. I guess if you're just trying not to get kids hurt, that's one thing. But if you want to come out and win a game, it's probably there for you tonight.
Yeah, and there were some key games last night all over the state of Texas. One game that kind of involved the future opponent of a team playing tonight. We'll talk about that in a minute. But let's go ahead and look at some of the highlights from the Thursday night action. The Hill Country is where we'll start. Westwood would play the loser of this game between Austin Bowie and Del Valley. Now, Josh Cleveland is going to go on the move here for Del Valley. Check out the run right here around the right end, up the gut, 46 yards for a touchdown. And just like that, Del Valley was up early. But another touchdown play here as Denzel Feaster hooks up with Chris Campbell for a touchdown. Things looking great for Del Valley, but back comes Austin Eschenberg and Bowie. In fact, Bowie would rally to win this game 23-21. Eschenberg with 162 yards passes and 141 yards on the ground. So a great game for him. So that means Westwood will play Del Valley next Thursday in the postseason. All right, moving on to the Permian Basin. Permian facing a 3rd and 17 in their matchup against Lubbock Coronado. Quarterback Jack Wilkins completes the pass to Des Daniels. Gotta love that name right there. Big first down, which leads to a 1-yard plunge up the middle by Wilkins for the touchdown. Then it's Jorian Wilson. He'll line up in the Wildcat formation, takes it in for a touchdown. Permian was up 14-3, but I gotta show you this next play. Check it out. Probably the play of the game just before half. Permian goes up top. Wilkins to Andrew Perez. That is a Hail Mary, and that really was the play that kind of set the tone. Odessa Permian goes on to win it 49-24. They can reach the postseason. They'll need a little help tonight. All right, how about the big country now? Lenore Grady and La Mesa Klondike, 6-man Division I District 4. We got you covered no matter what classification. Winner in, loser out. Grady with the touchdown here as E.J. Rodriguez passes to Brandon Lucas for a 27-yard TD. And he's, by the way, going to be in the state cross-country meet tomorrow in Round Rock. So Lucas getting his running in. Now Josh Jower takes it in from 46 yards here. Grady would end up winning the game in the end, 40-32. So Grady is in the postseason. Congratulations to them, and a good victory for Grady. How about in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex,
where we had Arlington Bowie and Arlington Martin facing off. Bowie with a chance to clinch its first outright district title since 2008 with a win. They started off well when Tony James hit Eric Rivers for a 20-yard score to get them out early, and there was going to be a lot of offense from Bowie tonight. Don't be surprised, because they've been doing that to people all year. Here's Rivers again on the direct snap, a 3-yard touchdown run. And now Martin needs to try and find a way to claw back in to this game, and they turned to Matt Wheeler, who got in from a yard out to pull them a couple inches closer. Worth noting that Kyle Hicks ended up being helped off the field in this game with what looked like some degree of a knee or leg injury. Matt Wheeler again, this time from 11 yards out. He squeaks in, and this is suddenly somewhat of a ball game in the second half. Bowie still enjoying, though, a double-digit lead, and then they would go back to the guy who got him there at the beginning, Eric Rivers on the reverse. 9-yard touchdown run for Rivers, his third score of the night. Bowie goes on to win 44-26, pitting them against Keller Central in the first round next week. Arlington Martin, yikes, they get South Lake Carroll.
Hey, let's go way out west, actually, now with let's check in with the Houston area first. Yeah, okay, now let's go back out west. There we go. Franklin Cougars visiting the El Dorado Aztecs, top seed in 1-5A Division I at stake. Scoreless in the first quarter. Awesome. And El Dorado would botch the punt attempt coming up right here. Then they would recover the fumble, but Franklin takes over at the 1-yard line. Next play, Vince Garcia scores the easy touchdown. It was 7-0 Franklin. They would also be district champs with the win, by the way. So late in the first, same score. Cade Terrazas runs play action, hits Quentin Childs over the middle for a TD, game tied at 7. Cougars answer right back. Marcus Hernandez on the cutback will score from 5 yards out. And a wild game in this one, as you can see, the final 48-34. El Paso Franklin defeats El Paso Dorado. So interesting action all over the great state of Texas on Thursday night, and much more coming up tonight.
And that's what we're going to try and do all night, folks, is take you through a lot of these big playoff matchups. Some matchups are already set for next week, but largely what happens in the big district games around Texas tonight.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. Let's check back in with Angela Heyman on the sidelines with more on our State Farm desk.
Well, thanks, guys. Well, actually, as I mentioned earlier, tonight's game doesn't really mean too much for these teams. It's going to be a tune-up, but it's still important, and neither coach wants to lose. I asked Flugerville's George Herman about how you prepare for a game like this.
The good thing about it is Westwood's a throwing team, and they're very similar to our opponent, Lake Travis, who's going to we're going to play next week. So it's a good tune-up for us playing a team like that.
And Coach Herman mentioned it. They have a tough first-round matchup against Lake Travis. They're going to want to do all they can tonight to prepare for their first-round playoff game. When Fox Football Friday returns live from Flugerville, we're going to try to put the playoff picture in perspective. Stay tuned.
Football Friday Live is presented by State Farm. Visit texas.statefarm.com to enter the Fan Up Truck Sweepstakes. Buy Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. Buy your Texas Ford dealers. It's the year-end celebration at your Texas Ford dealer. Enjoy great savings on the freshest lineup. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Wendy's. Be bold with Wendy's Asiago Ranch Chicken Club. In spicy, home style, or grilled. Try one today.
Good job, Gurley.
Sounds like P&G over there.
Yeah, it does sound like
Port
that.
Neches Groves.
Thank you, sir.
That looks good. I'll do one. I'll take one too. It's a good mix with the water. With the coffee. Thank you, sir. If I wasn't all wired up, I'd get it in there.
Those were good highlights.
Yep, they worked. Cool. Thanks, man.
You having a good day? You having a good day? Thank you.
One thing I've learned about being in Austin, you got to take allergy medicine here.
Yeah. At least we know Dallas is the worst. Every time I leave Dallas, I'm like, well, it can't be a whole lot worse. Okay.
Whoop, touchdown.
Welcome back to Fox Football Friday, powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. We are live in Flugerville for the matchup between the Flugerville Panthers and the Westwood Warriors. Westwood puts the first points on the board. Just about 8 minutes left in the first quarter, and Westwood is leading 7-0. Hey, be sure to join us each and every Saturday morning at 8:30 right here on Fox Sports Southwest as we highlight the Built Ford Tough Player of the Week winners. You can also watch our show online at playeroftheweek.com, powered by your Texas Ford dealers. Now we're going to talk about the Built Ford Tough Player of the Week pregame pick. That's Pflugerville's running back, Adrian Dilworth. He's a 5'8", 190-pound senior. He has 1,077 rushing yards on the season and 16 rushing touchdowns, having a great season and a great running back, and we're certainly going to keep our eye on him all evening. So now we're going to send it over to the Academy Sports Desk where Jeff and Travis are, and they're going to give us some Friday previews. Jeff and Travis?
Thank you, Angela. I do appreciate that. Yeah, so some early scoring going on here. We'll get to those highlights in just a little bit. Let's kind of talk about some of the big games coming up tonight all over the state of Texas. And one that really kind of stands out is down in the Permian Basin.
That's right, because we talked about Permian winning last night. And what that does, folks, is it puts Permian in a great position to make the playoffs, pending this outcome and another one. Basically, everything's going to hinge on what Midland does with Abilene. If Midland loses to Abilene, the winner of that one's going to be in.
Yeah, so 5-2 league clinches a playoff spot with a win, but if they lose, the Rebels are out. Central's at 4-3, so we'll see how it shakes down.
And this man is a good reason why. Mickey Scott, their quarterback, look at the damage he can do to you on the ground, through the air. He's a great dual threat. And realistically, Jeff, both Midland Lee and San Andreas Central are not going to make the playoffs. And it's a darn shame because they're both good enough to be in the postseason.
You know, I think about Central and that game they had early this year against Midland. Incredible. Yep. All right, Plano East at Plano West in the DFW. Good rivalry and a big game.
Yes, like Greg Tepper at Dave Campbell's Texas Football says, don't stare exactly at District 10-5A. You'll go blind. It's like the sun. It's just too confusing, too complicated, but more than likely, if Plano West wins tonight, they'll be in. Plano East has a lot more work, Jeff. They have to beat West and hope Plano can knock off Allen. Yikes, that's not going to be easy.
So we'll be keeping an eye on the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex tonight. How about the Hill Country now? Huge game between Leander Rouse and Vista Ridge. I know Rouse has to win by at least 7 points to get into the postseason, and Vista Ridge is already in.
That's exactly right. And, folks, that's another element we're going to talk about tonight is when things go to points. In other words, when three teams are tied up in district play, all at, say, 3-3 or 4-3, you need a way to break that tie. And a lot of districts go to point differential, either on the season or what you've done against your rivals. So Rouse has to win by 7 or more tonight to knock out Vandegrift and get in along with Vista Ridge.
All right, so the Greater Houston area, Cy Fair and Cy Creek. Huge game going on down there in that district.
Ah, the joys of simplicity. This is a win and in for the 4th spot. That means winner is in, takes the 4th spot from 17-5A. Loser ain't going to make it. This is Cy Fair you're seeing here, and this is what they can do to you with their quarterback, Logan Taylor. They can stretch the field, but their most dangerous weapon, it's probably going to be that defense. They can do some great work. Look, an interception on the goal line against high-powered Cy Ranch. Cy Fair has been red hot as of late. We'll talk more about them what they've done in this 4-1 stretch over the past 5 weeks.
And Greg McKeag doing a great job at Side Creek. Good defense over there. How about Seguin at Bernie Champion down in the San Antonio area, the Alamo City, with some huge games, and the Matadors battling Bernie Champion tonight should be a good one.
Well, Seguin's been left for dead a lot in San Antonio over the past couple of years, but they actually control their own destiny right now. If they win, they will make it. They've got a good quarterback right now. The defense is playing pretty well, but they're playing a desperate Bernie Champion team that not only needs to win, Jeff, they need to win by 10 or more. So, they're going to come out guns blazing, probably especially in the passing game.
So Westwood leading right here now 7-0 over Flugerville. But how about the win-in games? I mean, those are the ones that are the most fun. You just win and you're in. We've talked about it in 6-man already. How about some 11-man?
Well, so many playoff scenarios are so confusing as you go throughout the weeks and throughout the months of the season. But those winning-in games, they really are that easy. Here's a look at some of the big ones across Texas. Timber Creek at Fossil Ridge up in the Dallas area in 4-5A. Seven Lakes at Morton Ranch. And Morton Ranch has a running back we're going to tell you about later tonight because, he's only the third now all-time rusher in a single game after last week's performance. Athens and Brownsboro heading out to East Texas. They're in a win-in. And 15-3A, China Spring at Lorena. This one's unusual because the winner of this one isn't necessarily locked into the last playoff spot in their district. The winner of this one could be the first team in district, a win-in when you could take the first spot. That's weird. And then down in 2A Division I in the Panhandle, Childress at Bushland. There's a lot more of these across the state. These are just really the top 5 ones I think I'm locked into right now.
Hey, speaking of locked in, we've already got a touchdown here. Why don't we kind of show everybody how it happened right behind us. An early start here. Westwood on the move. Check out this setup play here. Ty Marshall, he is the all-around guy. Westwood loves to get him into space. Anthony Wood told us before the game that he wants to get him around and get him open. And look at this, the touchdown run around the corner by Tanner Osborne. So Westwood leading right now 7-0 here in the first quarter. All right, Fox Football Friday will continue from here in Pflugerville in just a moment. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back with much more.
I'm not, but I can be.
I got a feeling we're going to be talking about Ty Marshall a lot tonight.
Can we get one of these for him?
Okay. The Coach Wood even told, I don't know if this is good to report. We can couch it in a way that it's probably okay, but they're trying to get him to 100 catches and in the regular season. So he said they're going to look to do some shovel passes and stuff to him that still count as passes so he can get those easy receptions.
They don't look as bad.
Yeah, and they want to pull him at halftime. So
yeah. That's with pad. It's 242, 241, 242.
Jeff, you can cut whatever.
Have you had anybody
Jeff, you can cut. I mean, you can cut the sod at the end. You can cut these graphics. Okay, we can cut whatever you want.
Oh, yeah. We can definitely do that. Hey, do you want me to just ask one question, not two? Okay.
Nope. Katie's already up like 37 million to nothing.
I love how Martin sends us like the coaches at 7:30.
The 50-year anniversary of Pflugerville's incredible 55-game winning streak in football is upon us. What began in the middle of the 1958 season would eventually reach national record proportions.
Powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. We're live in Pflugerville for the matchup between the Pflugerville Panthers and the Westwood Warriors. Westwood leads 7-0 in the first quarter. I am joined by State Farm agent Todd Derflinger. Todd, thanks for being here with us. I wanted to start off by talking to you about these rings that we have on. It's basically a commitment to not text and drive.
That's correct. Yes, as you know, texting and driving is one of the worst things we can do, and we're really trying to reach out and remind teens not to text and drive. drive, and adults as well.
And quickly, tell me about what else State Farm is doing here in Texas.
Sure. Well, it's been a long-standing tradition of us to sponsor football, athletics, but also academics. In fact, we're a proud sponsor of the Texas Scholar Award, where we're giving away $75,000 worth of scholarships each year. And folks at home can go to texasscholaraward.com to learn more about that. So.
And if someone did want to learn more, how could they reach you?
Sure, they can reach our office at 888-990-0950, and we're available 24/7.
Well, Todd, thanks so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Great. Thank you.
Now we're going to send it over to Jeff and Travis, and they're going to tell us a little bit about history for one of the teams playing tonight. Guys?
That's right, Angela. We got a chance to catch up with Charles Kemple, who was the former head coach of Flugerville. Of course, this stadium, named after Coach Kemple, has done such a fantastic job with the Panthers. We caught up with him and talked to him and some of his players about the streak. We're talking 55 straight wins. Here's the story.
The 50-year anniversary of Flugerville's incredible 55-game winning streak in football is upon us. What began in the middle of the 1958 season would eventually reach national record proportions in 1962. Flugerville, with a population of over 47,000 now, was just a tiny farming community of 400 people back in 1958. This town just north of Austin embraced football on Friday nights with the best of them. Led by their head coach, Charles Kemple, a Flugerville High School graduate of 1949, the Panthers reached levels of success unheard of in this era.
I think that our team's success was mostly by heart and spirit and drive and speed, and we thought we had a good plan.
Once it got started, I didn't want to be the guy that lost the first game, so we played our heart out.
The 49th win for this 55-game winning streak was when they broke the Abilene record, which happened to be the state record. And of course, they went on to the 55-game winning streak.
The Panthers produced 30 shutouts during the streak and only allowed 28 points in the entire 1960 season. Defense was key under Coach Kemple's style of play, but the Flugerville offense also thrived with trap plays and sweeps that would impress the Green Bay Packers.
Well, we ran 2 halfbacks and a wingback. In that era, most of the teams played pretty much standard defenses. They played a 6-2 or a 5-2 monster or a 4-4 or something that was pretty stable, so we could adjust.
We basically had a dozen plays, and we basically told the opposition, this is what we're going to do, you try to stop us. We didn't have to pass a whole lot.
We ran a lot of trap plays, pulling guards. I don't know, they just worked. We didn't have any weight program back then. We did chores and worked out in the field and hauled hay and drove tractors and whatever.
Fans came from all around the state to see this team play and enjoy a little German hospitality with a Texas flair in the process.
All around this field were fans. I don't know where they all came from. It was more than 400. And we didn't have enough bleachers for everybody, so they stood all the way around the sideline.
Saturday mornings after the game, that was everybody in the town was talking about the football game that they went to the night before, so you better have won the game.
There were no state titles back then, but these Flugerville Panthers certainly had the heart of a champion.
We had a district championship, a by-district championship, and then a regional. And that's as far as we could go. I'm sure we could have won the state championship if they'd have let us play.
I bet they could have won a state championship. And a nice job right there. Bernadine Mott, thank you so much. She helped with the photos and helped coordinate a lot of those interviews there. And I tell you what a dynasty Charles Kemple had put together back then. It was a great time visiting with those guys. All right, we'll be right back. More Fox Football Friday here in Flugerville when we return. More Westwood and Flugerville action for you.
It was good, bud. Real good.
That was really good.
Thank you, man.
Jeff Watts.
Thank you.
May we use the Coach Wood shot instead of the Coach Herman shot? Okay, I just think that Coach Wood was a little bit more animated. Yes, we have heard Coach Herman already.
Westwood's kind of got like an all-star coaching staff. You know that?
Yeah.
I mean, Coach Wood has been in all these all-star games, does a great job, of course. There was a couple of the coaches that went. Oh, L.D. Williams used to coach over at Austin High.
Oh, yeah.
And
Football Friday. Friday Live is presented by State Farm.
He's always on all-star staffs. He has been the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's because they all know he does this.
So,
and he's good with the media. He's a good guy to have.
Yeah, they pick up a thing or two.
Football Friday Live is...
Football Friday Live is...
That's pretty good. So we're going as scripted here on this, or just dropping one side, right?
Yeah. And it's a Coach Wood shot, not Coach Herman. Yeah.
So no big score updates. Yeah, I mean, we're going to hit some in just a few minutes, so not a big deal.
That play will bring into the first quarter. Your score, the Westwood Warriors 7, the Flugerville Panthers 0.
Football Friday Live is presented by State Farm. Visit texas.statefarm.com to enter the Fan of Truck Sweepstakes. Buy Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. Buy your Texas Ford dealers. It's the year-end celebration at your Texas Ford dealer. Enjoy great savings on the freshest lineup. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Wendy's. Be bold with Wendy's Asiago Ranch Chicken Club in spicy, home style, or grilled. Try one today.
You are watching Fox Football Friday Live, powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. We're here for the matchup between the Flugerville Panthers and the Westwood Warriors. Westwood leads it 7-0 heading in to the second quarter. And speaking of Westwood, I spoke to Westwood head coach Anthony Wood earlier, and I asked him how he planned to use tonight's game to prepare for the playoffs.
What we're looking to do is we're looking to get some guys who haven't had game time experience at critical points of the game, trying to get them some more action, trying to get a backup quarterback ready to play just in case he has to go in and make an important drive during the playoff run. So really we're going to use this game to let the kids that haven't played as much get some playing time.
And obviously, starting quarterback Bear Fenimore not going to play tonight as long as he doesn't need him. So we're going to send it over to Jeff and Travis now, and they're going to give us their final thoughts, guys.
Yeah, Angela, Sam Swinson is actually starting tonight for Westwood, and like Coach said, a chance to get in there and get some action. You never know when you need your backup quarterback. Ask the Longhorns when Colt McCoy got hurt against Alabama, right?
That's right. Folks, get a pen and pencil. A lot of playoff scenarios tonight. We're going to be busy.
That's right. Fox Football Friday continues in a moment. Don't forget the Blitz coming up right after this. Highlights and more. I think we just, oh my goodness. Can you help me with that? I'm sorry.
Do you want a paper clip,
Thank
Jeff?
you for walking by.
Jeff, do you want a paper clip?
Yeah, I'll take the next one, yeah.
Hey, Val, I think I have some paper clips either on y'all's scripts or some in the RV. Can we borrow those? I didn't realize it was going to get so windy right when we sat down.
Maybe we can find a Round Rock since we're in Round Rock, Westwood, in Flugerville.
Clever, clever. Why is it called Round Rock anyway?
There is actually a Round Rock in downtown Round Rock.
Is it?
Yep. It's about the size of a marble.
Oh, you're the bestest. I will take one of these, actually. I love these little things.
No, the rock is actually symbolic. It's actually pretty big.
Thank you, Val.
Over where I live, there was once a pretty bad train accident where a bunch of granite fell off a train, and they had these rocks all over. They're still there. They can't even lift them.
What?
Yeah, they leave them there as like a history.
It's weird.
I didn't give that story any justice tonight. The Chisholm Trail began.
Alrighty.
What I was going to say is, as we kind of go into each district, maybe we touch a little, obviously you're going to be doing most of the playoffs scenario setup. Maybe I can jump in on a couple here and there. Any kind of games that we're not talking about here, we can throw in some other stuff.
Yeah, sure.
And welcome to Fox Football Friday. It is the Blitz, powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. It's Week 10. You know what that means. Postseason. Win, you're in. Lose, you might need some help. That's going to be the theme of the night. We're going to get you taken care of on all the playoff scenarios all over the state of Texas, and there's a lot to get to. Jeff Power, Travis Stewart, and, of course, Angela Heyman on the sidelines. Our game right here, Pflugerville, Westwood. Big as far as trying to get themselves tuned up for the postseason, but both these two teams know who they're going to be playing in the playoffs, so we're going to concentrate more throughout the night on other big matchups.
That's exactly right, and let's start out in East Texas. And right off the top, we're going to take a look at two games, or what we call win and in. It's not a very clever name, really, because it's exactly what it describes. Whoever wins the game is in the playoffs. Whoever loses is out. And in East Texas, 15-3A gives us one such affair. Athens at Brownsboro. And then down in 2A Division I, we've got Lone Oak at Eustis. Kind of like Lone Oak there. The other one, I don't know. Anyone's game. I'll lean towards Brownsboro at home, but I could see that one flexing in either direction. Not every geographic region we go to is going to have some winning in games, but whenever there are some, we're going to put them right off the top, so that way when you see these scores later on in the night, you can make a little check mark on your bracket at home and say that's one more team I can pencil in.
All right, games that we're watching out for here in Week 10. Let's begin with White House at John Tyler. Huge game. A couple of teams, district titles and undefeated records and all that good stuff on the line.
In a grand irony, and a night we're going to be talking about playoffs the whole night, this one has no bearing on the playoffs. Both teams are in, and both teams are headed to different divisions. Remember, those are based on school enrollment. But what it is, it's on for the district title, which means a lot to these two teams. John Tyler at 8-1, White House at 9-0. They both want to say they're the best team in East Texas, and perhaps more importantly, White House gunning for its first ever undefeated season with a win here tonight.
Yeah, and obviously we throw out those non-district records. It's all about district play and trying to get into the postseason. Now, Kilgore and Gilmer, another game we're watching out for tonight. Kilgore has made the cut a lot of times this year as far as highlights. Great-looking football team.
And very good defensively. This game also has no playoff impact, but like the previous one, it's for a district title. And in 16-3A, the District of Doom, shoot, that's worth its weight in gold because you really want to say that you've come out and won that district. I like Kilgore here because they're so big, they're so strong, so physical, and their linebacker, A.J. Davis, may be the best in the business. Gilmer's a good team, but I think Kilgore may be the most physically intimidating team in all of Class 3A right now.
How about Rockwall at Longview?
All right, well, Rockwall and Longview, both of them are not in the playoffs yet, but they both need different things to happen to get there. Longview, all they need is a win. There's actually a couple situations that would put them in the postseason, but a win is the easiest one, and that's what they should get with quarterback Desmond Chumley at the helm. Rockwall, it's a little bit different. If you look at the standings here in this district in 12-5A, it'll help clarify things a little bit. You can see that Rockwall and Rockwall Heath, they're both a game behind Longview at 3-2. Those two are at 2-3. So Rockwall needs to win, and then they need a Heath loss, and that's just to get them to a three-way tie. And they're going to have to win big in order to win that three-way tie. So more than likely, Longview and Heath are going to be your next two teams in here. It takes a lot of things happening to put Rockwall in the postseason.
So basically, Longview and Heath win, they are in. All right, let's move now to ARP at Winona.
All right, well, Winona, it's half a win and in because they need to win to qualify. If they lose, it gets dicey. And that, I won't say it's likely. It very well happen, though, because ARP is the district champion. So Winona has to win. They could also get a loss out of West Rusk. That's a team that they have lost to already, so they're down a tie with them. If West Rusk wins and Winona wins, tragedy. Winona would not qualify.
White Oak at Jefferson. Another huge game, District 9 2A.
This one has been a mathematician's dream and a sports writer's nightmare in this district because it's so many tie-break scenarios, but the best way to describe it is that Tatum and Troop are in, which means White Oak and Jefferson is essentially just a win and in. You can see it in the numbers here. Troop is actually clinched now by the math and some of the things that have happened earlier in the week. Now remember, seeding is a mess and there's no way to know who's going to be playing who, and that's important when they're matching up with a talented district, 10-2A and by district. But essentially these two, White Oak and Jefferson, if you win it, you're in it.
All right, so those are some of the key games we're watching out for tonight in East Texas. Highlights of some of these games a little bit later on tonight. We actually just had a score behind us just now.
Again.
Pflugerville. Pflugerville on the board with a touchdown. They have now tied it up at 7 right now here on Fox Football Friday. And in case you're not familiar with the style here, basically we're at the game, but we can't show you live highlights, so we do the next best thing. We can show you highlights basically after they happen. UIL rules prevent us from showing live highlights on Friday night, but let's check in with Angela, find out what just happened.
Thanks, guys. Well, it's 7-7, as you said, about 10 minutes to go in the second quarter. Pflugerville just tied it up, but I want to show you the first touchdown that Westwood scored. It was basically a 1-inch run by number 11. Tanner Osborne gets across the goal line. That would make it 6-0. They'd make the extra point, 7-0 Westwood in the first quarter. Now it's 7-7, all tied up, 9 minutes and 44 seconds left to go in the second quarter. Back to you guys.
All right, so a good game right here, 7-all, all knotted up. Both these teams with some good district records, I might add. Only one loss each in district play.
Now, we've talked about both these teams know who they're playing in the playoffs. Just to reaffirm, Pflugerville gets Lake Travis, the 5-time reigning champs in Class 4A, now in their first season in 5A. And then we know that Westwood, they have a tough game as well. They're going to see Del Valle in the first round. That's a team they'll be favored to beat. But you never know when we get to the postseason, which is why it's so much fun.
And I heard something interesting in talking with Coach Anthony Wood. He said because of the Formula One race coming up next week in the Austin area, Del Valle's home game is going to be moved over to the Palace Reeves Athletic Complex to play over at Westwood's home stadium on Thursday night, I might add.
That is very confusing. Look at auto racing making a guest appearance on a football show.
All right, Fox Football Friday will continue in just a moment. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Football Friday Blitz is presented by your Texas Ford dealers. It's the year-end celebration at your Texas Ford dealer. Enjoy great savings on the freshest lineup. Ford is the best in Texas. By Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. By Wendy's. Be bold with Wendy's Asiago Ranch Chicken Club and spicy home style or grilled. Try one today. And by FredLloyd.com.
By the way, somber tone on both of these. I've never seen anything like this. Both these first two games.
Oh, I heard about it.
You heard about the Littlefield kid?
I heard it, yeah.
The Littlefield kid committed suicide earlier, 2 weeks ago. And the Monterey defensive coordinator died at 46 from a sudden unexpected illness 2 weeks ago. So I want to mention them because I don't want to put football above what happened.
You know what? Let's ask Jeff about that suicide. That's always a tricky subject. Okay.
I'll just say the kid, tragically passed away. Yeah, there's no point in.
Yep. I think the news idea is you never can really prove it, so you have to kind of just be loose about it.
Oh, well, the paper said it.
Oh, so, okay.
Yeah. But again, it doesn't serve any purpose to. I mean, that's just
right.
It's awful. Yeah. I probably won't ask him about either of these topics. I don't want to put him on the spot like that. Yeah, George is such a good guy. He does such a good job for us. It's a great point, Jeff Watts. He does a good job.
He's thorough.
Yeah.
And he likes bread. He's a thoroughbred.
Oh, wow. LaPorte is going bonkers.
No. Against Port Arthur Memorial?
Right here.
And welcome back to Flugerville for Fox Football Friday, powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. We're here at Kemple Stadium, where Flugerville taking on the Westwood Warriors. Right now, this game all knotted up at 7. Jeff Power and Travis Stewart joining you here on the desk. We're literally right on the field here, just off the track, if you will, here at Kemple Stadium, and a pretty good game going on behind us. What do you say we move now into the Panhandle, talk a little Panhandle football, and kind of get you squared away with the postseason setup.
And the busiest parts of the Panhandle right now, Jeff, are in the small school ranks. Take a look at all these win and in games at 1A and below. You got Childress at Bushland. We talked about that in the live show a couple minutes ago. They're in 2AD1. Then you have Vega at Claude, Spring Lake Earth at Bovina, and Smire at Rawls. All of those games are win and in. So crowded up at the top in 1A and the Panhandle, and busy as well. For quick fire picks, I like, let's take Childress. I'll take Vega. Give me Spring Lake Earth. And for the win, I'll take Rawls.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
A lot of interesting matchups.
Hey, games we're watching out for here in Week 10. How about Littlefield at Muleshoe?
Well, this one's tough because Littlefield is going through a hard time. They had a player lose his life a couple weeks ago, and that always puts a team in a tough emotional state. But they've rallied hard. They're playing together. They're playing well. And it's going to be an emotional tonight as both of these teams look for a district title. But I think Littlefield may be looking to win one for a guy who's not there anymore. And I think that takes that's going to take some emotional precedence for him. Hearts and prayers out to him.
And Lubbock Monterey at Lubbock, similar situation there.
And it's kind of a double whammy in the Panhandle, folks. Lubbock, their defensive coordinator, Reese Fleming, died earlier in the week. A sudden, unexpected death through an illness. He was 46, and now the Monterey community reeling as well. It's just a tough time in the Panhandle. This game does have some big implications, though, Jeff. The winner here gets to avoid Amarillo in the first round and play Paladuro instead. The loser takes on Amarillo, but for Monterey, just like Littlefield, you know they're playing with a heavy heart and a higher cause than just a game.
How about Cooper and Estacado right now? Look at the scoring going on right here. I understand George Watson is on the phone, and let's make some sense of this right now, George. A lot of scoring in this game.
Yeah, there has been a lot of scoring. It's been all offense here in the second half. Neither defense has really kind of stood up and made any kind of stand. I thought Estacado had, earlier, but then they gave it right back. I tell you, I credit Cooper. They really have nothing to play for in this game, and they're playing like they have everything to play for. They're out there running the football and are really gashing Estacado, which I think, if I'm Danny Cervantes with Estacado, I got to be worried going into the postseason. I got to figure that out real quick before next week comes.
Now, George, you're there for a doubleheader tonight. You get Lubbock Monterey at Lubbock right after this one. We know there's big implications on the line because the loser ends up facing Amarillo. Who do you like to win that one?
It's really kind of a toss-up. I'm not sure how this game goes just because, like you guys mentioned earlier, the whole deal with Monterey losing defensive coordinator Reese Fleming, you just don't know what kind of mental state, what kind of emotional state those guys are going to come out in. If it's going to inspire them, if it's going to, do whatever. And, Lubbock is, still sitting there. They've got a lot to play for, even though they've clinched the playoff spot. So if you just go based on paper, I'd probably have to go with Monterey just because I think their physical run game will wear out Lubbock High. But, if Lubbock High can get some stuff in the passing game, get some big plays, it could go either way right now.
George Watson, our Panhandle Warrior, pulling a doubleheader, a double shift out in Lubbock. Thanks, George. We'll catch up with you later.
No problem, guys. Anytime.
I love it. A doubleheader. That's fantastic. That's a good way to wrap up the regular season. How about Abernathy at Post?
A terrific game here. No playoff implications per se. This one's actually for a district title. This is the first and second ranked team in district, and the winner gets a first round bye. The second one's going to see the second place team, the loser, is going to see Spearman in the first round next week. I kind of like Abernathy here. They got a great defense, but boy howdy, both of these teams are pretty good. It's rare that you get the best game in the district in the last week, but that's what we have here.
Dalhart is at Perryton tonight, and another key 3-3A game.
Yeah, and a headache game at that one, I'll say, in District 1-3A, where Dalhart, they've already clinched a berth. We know they're done. Perryton, though, is at 2-1. Pampa's at 2-2, and Borger's at 1-2. The reason Pampa's at 2-2 is because they're off this week. They've already played all 10 games. If Perryton wins, they're going to get in. If it loses, Borger is probably going to force a three-way tie because they play River Road tonight. Then you've got a three-way tie between Perryton, Pampa, and Borger, and only two of those are going to get in, and it's going to come down to some mess like point differential or what have you, and it's probably going to take us till the end of the night to figure out that.
How about Spring Lake Earth at Bovina? This game, another key matchup, 3 1A Division II key games.
Yeah, and you know what's weird about this one? No one has actually clinched in this district. Only one team is out, that's Morton. But there are 4 teams alive in 3 1A D2. You can see Spring Lake Earth, Sudan, Bovina, and Farwell are all right there. If Spring Lake Earth wins, they're going to get in, and actually I think they will. And I think Sudan will probably win as well. That would clinch their berth. So a lot of moving parts in here, but I think by the end of the night, you're probably going to see Spring Lake Earth and Sudan for sure sitting in the postseason.
All right, so that is the Panhandle, and already some scores kind of starting to roll in. Remember to keep an eye on the ticker down below. If you see a final on there, it's probably from a Thursday night game, unless you're part of a doubleheader out in Lubbock. But also big games all across the state of Texas tonight. Some of those Houston area games start around 7.
That's true.
All right, let's check in with Angela real quick down to the sidelines and get an update. Angela?
Hey guys, well, Westwood kicker Colin McGuire just made a 31-yard field goal, and earlier before the game I asked Coach Wood about him. He told me he's one of the best kickers he's ever coached. The first 2 kickoffs that he had of the game, he kicked it through the uprights. Obviously he was going with the wind, but still highly impressive. This kid has got a heck of a leg, and the coach said that he does it all. Kickoffs, field goals, punts. I'm going to keep my eye on this guy because he is very good. Back to you guys.
All right, Angela, appreciate that. So field goal kicking and all. And tell you what, it's a little bit breezy out here. Our papers have been kind of getting thrown around a little bit. So put that round rock down.
We were just talking about McGuire, and I've been told many times by college coaches and recruiters that college football is a copycat sport. Sometimes when one kid gets offered, everyone wants to offer him. They don't want to miss out on what everyone else is getting. McGuire's got offers to big ones, ACCs, West Coast. He's already committed, I think, to Fresno State, but there's more people coming in all the time. If you're local and you're looking for a kid that can boot it from about, 60 plus and split the uprights, I would recommend you come take a look at the kid. He's got a bionic leg.
Very good.
Not really, but kind of.
All right, very good. Okay, let's take a quick break. Fox Football Friday will continue in just a moment. And big game here, but a lot of games across the state. We'll be right back to talk about it. Right now, Westwood up 10-7 here in the second quarter.
They're probably going to do it here.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Hey, Jeff. Can I make a request?
No, I didn't know if you wanted to drop that thing, the wind, right?
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
We might.
I just tweeted the Athens-Brownsboro score. It's Athens 20, Brownsboro 0. Can we stick that in the big score game updates? Big game score updates. First quarter. I think we can go ahead and call that final, though. I don't think that's going anywhere good. God love the truck.
Why stop at 4? Let's have 6 pages.
You know, Truck, Jeff Powers telling me he was going to buy you guys all new cars like Oprah for y'all's great work this year. He was telling me that before we went live.
Yeah, and I also had Stony Point winning the state championship a couple years ago, too. I thought I bought Mike Watt something for that. I don't know. Maybe not. Yeah.
Hey, y'all all be nice to Mike. He did a yeoman's work today with that script and all those graphics. Mike Watts turned in big time.
We got you covered, Mike. No problem.
What'd he say?
Hey, give me another Darryl World quote. 3 things happen when you pass football. 2 of them are bad.
Okay. He said that one, and he said...
dance with who brung you.
Dance with who brung you. Oh, we have the superintendent interview here, too. Dance with who brung you. I tell you what. let me tell a funny story about him. Okay. Is that okay?
Barry Switzer and the Spy? Oh.
No.
And welcome back to Fox Football Friday. We're here in Flugerville at Kimpel Stadium. Of course, Flugerville taking on Westwood. Good game right here as we wrap up the regular season here on Fox Football Friday. But don't worry, folks. We'll be with you throughout the playoffs.
Yeah, we're going to be here a long time. The next 3 weeks for sure. Take you all the way through the third round. And by that point, you should be able to figure out who you're on your own, who's going to win the state titles, right? You don't need us anymore.
Yes, no question about it. All right, superintendent here at Flugerville High School. They do a great job. I mean, the superintendent sometimes they're almost underrated with all the work that they do, and the coaches always get a lot of recognition for what they do. But how about the superintendent? We got a chance to catch up with him before the game and talk a little bit about what's going on here in Flugerville.
Well, honestly, what I'm most excited about is that these players on the football field tonight are also outstanding young men in the classroom. And all these band students, the cheerleaders, they're all successful in the classroom. We're doing some things in Flugerville to make sure that math and science, we're really advancing our students in math and science. We're an advanced placement leader in the nation in the way that our students perform in the classroom. And we're doing things like geometry and construction and Project Lead the Way to help them set off on a great path for engineering and construction sciences and technology careers and all kinds of cool things. So we're just proud of all of our kids in Flugerville.
Okay, and definitely proud. Charles Dupree right there, the superintendent of Flugerville, and good stuff. I love to hear the fact that kids nowadays in high school, they're just more involved with what's going on in the world. I think
so. And odd story, my mom actually knows Charles Dupree. She used to work with him. My mom used to work in school districts down in the Houston area. Always good things to say. And they've done a great job out here. All three Flugerville high schools are in the playoffs this year. And there's a lot more to being a superintendent than getting your football teams in the playoffs, obviously, but it's just a good indicator of how well this school district does things down here.
Pflugerville Connolly, Pflugerville Hendrickson, really great team this year.
They're
and, of course,
awesome.
Pflugerville also in. Yep. All right, how about some Windy score updates? Let's take a look at some of the big games, big scores coming in from all over the state of Texas. Let's start off here with Stratford leading West Texas right now, 21-0 in the first. Katy over Houston Memorial, 14-0 in the first quarter. Frisco Liberty on top of Wakeland, 14-7 in the second. Round Rock Stony Point and Round Rock, huge game, 7-7 playoff implications in that one, first quarter score.
Yep, teams likely winning in that one. Wellington is up big over Wheeler. That one's actually 28-0 now. It's been a scoring fest early on. Pearland Dawson flexing its muscle as the top team in 4A, 14-0 over Galena Park. LaPorte pummeling Port Arthur Memorial, 16-0. A voracious effort at winning an undisputed district title for LaPorte. And then Little Elm and the Colony, pretty much a win and in for those two teams, tied at 14. And Greg Tepper is out there. We'll catch up with him later tonight.
Of course, LaPorte coming off that big win over North Shore, looking good right now. All right, Summer Creek leading Dayton, huge game, a battle of undefeated teams. Only two undefeated teams playing tonight, I might add. Summer Creek up 10-0 in the first. Frisco up on Prosper, 7-0 in the second. Athens over Brownsboro, 20-0 in the first. And Gregory Portland leads Victoria West 7-0 in the first.
Remember that Athens-Brownsboro game is a win and in. So if Athens goes on to win by that or even more, they're going to be in the playoffs, and Brownsboro is going to be sitting at home. Muleshoe is up over Littlefield right now in the Panhandle. Remember, that's a district title game in 2A Division I District 1, 7-0. Corpus Christi Ray over Corpus Christi Miller, a game Miller has to have. They're up 8-0 right now. PSJ Memorial over McAllen. Yikes, that's not what McAllen needs. They need a win big time to make the playoffs. 7-0 Memorial over McAllen. And then Troop, there it is, as Jeff likes to say, up right now 7-0 over Glade Waters Sabine.
Sporting my age right there, huh? Troop, there it is. I did a story on Greg Davis out there, a former basketball player. That was the whole thing.
Long time ago, but
it was. So anyway, the score right here is 10-7. Westwood is leading Pflugerville right now, and these two teams, both coaches kind of talked about having the starters in there in the first half, and then maybe in the second half, giving them a bit of a break and making sure they're okay in the postseason. Let's check out. Let's go check in with Angela at the sidelines. We'll check her out too. But Angela, what do you have on the sidelines?
Well, thanks, Jeff and Travis. Obviously, earlier in live, we talked about how they're two stellar defenses. Been a little bit of offense. Right now, Westwood leads 10-7, but they just got a big sack on Pflugerville's quarterback. And earlier, I asked Coach Wood how he was going to use this game to prepare his defense for that electric offense that Lake Travis had. You'll see it for yourself. This is what he's doing, sacking the quarterback, bringing the blitz, bringing the pressure. And like I said, Coach Wood was telling me that he was definitely going to use this game to prepare for his first round playoff matchup, against Del Valley, not Lake Travis. So back to you guys at the Academy Sports Desk.
Thank you, Angela. I appreciate that. And, right there, the defense for Westwood, they only give up about 2 touchdowns a game on the average, and they've been sensational. Pflugerville's defense has been really good this year, too. Both coaches talking about how defenses are why they are in the postseason.
And like Angela was saying, rushing the passer specifically will be key against Lake Travis because they're without their top wide receiver, Zach Austin. He's been out all year. You're without your top running back right now, Varshawn Nixon. You have no idea when or if he's coming back. So really, Lake Travis's quarterback, Baker Mayfield, that's what they've got. I mean, I don't want to simplify the team. They're still very good defensively. But offensively, Baker Mayfield is by far and away the key that makes that engine go. And if Flugerville can get after him, move him around, make him uncomfortable, they're going to have a great chance to win that ball game.
Well, on top of that, we're actually going to hear from Hank Carter a little bit later on today. He's going to join us at halftime here. They're scouting this game because Pflugerville is playing Lake Travis next week. So we'll hear from him and talk about their big win last week against Westlake.
Yep.
All right, Fox Football Friday continues in just a moment. We're in Pflugerville. Hang around. We'll be right back with much more.
Well, I think 2 people need to talk here right now.
Hey, when you put your foot in your mouth, you just keep going.
What happens at Football Friday stays at Football Friday, right?
I was going to go right into my Darryl Royal and say, hey, we're going to dance with Who Brung Ya.
I didn't do nothing. I tell you what, the last thing you want to do, you don't want to call my wife and make her angry for any reason.
She's watching right now, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Like live.
Who,
on the
wife?
internet. Yes.
Oh, I'm positive she is. She does every week.
All right, Syntax.
And I haven't seen Diddley come in and score reports for Syntax, I tell you that.
You want to start with Royal this time, or you want to hold off?
Let's do it now. Why not? It's a good time for me.
I mean, we're getting kind of close to the Austin area and the Syntax.
Yeah. It's good to do it now before we get into when games are hitting
I got
quarters.
some stuff here. I'll read all this stuff here off the top and go through some of his quotes. Maybe if you want, it's up to you.
You do the quotes, story. And then I have a good quote from him, but you need a little backstory. It'll only take me, 10 seconds to get through.
Okay.
But it's a good story. I've always really liked it about him. Yuck.
There's a golf.
Football Friday Blitz is presented by your Texas Ford dealers. It's the year-end celebration at your Texas Ford dealer. Enjoy great savings on the freshest lineup. Ford is the best in Texas. By Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. And by Wendy's. Be bold with Wendy's Asiago Ranch Chicken Club and spicy, home style, or grilled. Try one today.
Welcome back to Fox Football Friday, powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. We're here in the Austin area, Round Rock Westwood at Pflugerville. And again, look at the Pflugerville band right there. You know, this area and college football lost a legend this week in Darryl K. Royal. Of course, he was 88 years old, coached the University of Texas from 1957 to 1976. A lot of people don't know that he actually played for the University of Oklahoma. But, of course, people remember him as not only probably the winningest coach in the University of Texas history, but DKR Texas Memorial Stadium was named after him in his honor. That was in 1996. Of course, he had a long battle with Alzheimer's disease. He was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame, and he had so many great quotes, kind of folksy types of things, like, 3 things happen when you pass the football. 2 of them are bad. Of course, an incompletion and an interception, in case you're counting. And then the famous quote, "Dance with Who Brung Ya," when he was asked about their running game and whether or not he would ever go to a passing style to kind of adapt to the way things were changing. And Darryl said, "No, we're set with running. We'll dance with Who Brung Ya."
And you know what? He obviously played in Oklahoma in high school, and that's where he made a lot of his name there. But both states kind of claim him as a native son, and part of it was the folksy things you talked talked about. And there's still one story about DKR that stayed with me a long time. He was talking a long time ago to the Michigan State coach, and they were talking about offenses, specifically what Texas was doing back then with the wishbone. And the Michigan State coach, I think it was Duffy Daughtry, was talking to him, asked him all these questions, really inquisitive, just trying to pick all the little parts of it. And finally, DKR said, "Duff, you don't want my offense, you want my fullback, Steve Worster, and you can't have it." I just thought that was such a great DKR moment. It was polite, and it was funny, and it still got the point across. He was just a really unique character in the state of Texas. 3 national titles is one thing, but doing it with the class that he did for a long time is another.
He was good friends with Lyndon Baines Johnson, of course, Willie Nelson. They had a golf tournament together in the Austin area. Just a lot of fun, and a great man, and he will be missed. All right, so let's talk now about the Syntex. Of course, a lot of the football not too far from here, in fact. Let's begin with the win and in games, Travis.
Well, Harker Heights at Copperas Cove is a little different. Both these teams are already in the playoffs. The reason it's a win and in is depending on who wins, another team will qualify, either Killeen or Temple. We'll talk about that mess in just a second. China Spring and Lorena, that's a win and in. Remember, we talked about that earlier because the winner there could actually still get a share of a district title. That's bizarre. The loser could be out, and the winner could have a district title. Walk me through that. Caldwell and Rockdale also in 3A, the bottom of that district, but they can still find a way to sneak into the 3rd spot with a win. And then Normandy at Lovelady, arguably the toughest, most balanced district in 1A D2 with Bremen and Chilton also in the mix, but the winner there is going to qualify. Bremen and Chilton are already in.
All right, so games we're watching out for here in Week 10. Belton at Midway. That's one game that we're going to be keeping an eye out for. Of course, Midway has been rolling this year, and they're up right now 7-0.
And the Thunder got sapped out of this one a little bit last night when Temple beat Killeen, which turned this game a little bit unimportant because Belton was eliminated. But here's the deal. If Harker Heights and Copperas Cove's game tonight, we talked about a second ago, if Cove wins, they qualify, Harker Heights qualifies, and Temple qualifies. The other side of the issue, if Harker Heights beats Copperas Cove tonight, Cove qualifies, Harker Heights qualifies, and Killeen qualifies. So Killeen and Temple are both sitting at home watching another game or listening to another game on the radio knowing that outcome is going to be what either puts them in or knocks them out of the playoff picture. Talk about stress. Get the Tums in the radio set. That'll work you over. As you can see there, Belton's eliminated, but Temple and Killeen, those are your last 2 spots. And Temple, is it fair to say they're near and dear to Fox Football Friday's heart because they're an alum from week 1? Way back at the beginning of the season, week 1, Temple. We had them against Westlake.
Hey, what do you say we check in with kbct.com and get an update on the Belton Midway game?
Got a little bit of a jump, and they'll reset it now. 7-0 Midway, 3:58 to go in the opening quarter. Greer, Clements in the slot, O'Brien near side. Kelly next to Robertson, Jarman man-to-man with Kyle Battle. Kramer rolls near side, has to run, and 1, 10, inside the 10, to the 5, dives, pylon, touchdown, Midway, touchdown, Kramer Robertson. He weaved in and out of the linebacker, and Midway scores with 3:40 to go in the opening quarter to lead 13-0, extra point to come.
And that was a vintage Kramer Robertson run. I mean, looks like a water bug out there, just unleashed, follows wherever the seam is, and it's always evolving, and picks up some nice pickup blocks from his blockers and scores a touchdown.
Here's the extra point, the hold by Moore, the kick by Owen. The kick is good. 3:40 to go in the opening quarter. It's Midway 14.
All right, so right there, 14-0 Midway scored. Of course, Midway lost to Lake Travis in the 4A title game last year. Both teams in 5A now and winning district titles in 5A.
And they may see each other in the regional finals. They're both 5A D2, and they may be the 2 best teams in that region in 5A D2. Also in Syntex, Sigurliga, Waco, La Vega, and Robinson. Robinson's already out of the playoff picture, but La Vega needs to win to get in, and there's no other qualifiers. If they win, they make it. That's it. If somehow Robinson wins, though, and China Spring wins, and Connolly wins, we can end up with a gross 3-way tie. But in short, China Spring and Lorena play tonight. That's a win and in. Winner gets in. If La Vega wins, which they're well on their way to doing, they're going to get in too. And that could leave really Lorena or China Spring to fill in the bottom spot. Waco Connolly could be in it too. But more than likely, La Vega is going to be in. And then, as we said, winner of Lorena and China Spring.
All right, other games that we are watching out for tonight. How about Waco at Everman? Right now, Waco up 7-0 in the first quarter.
Now, here's why Week 10's always trip. Both of these teams are already in the playoffs. You think we're done here, right? No. They're both going to Division II, but we haven't decided their seeds yet. They're still tied in district. So the winner here will take the top seed in D2, and the loser will take the bottom. What does that mean? It means the winner is going to avoid maybe Aledo in the first round, but at the very least Fort Worth Southwest. And those are two teams you don't want to play. So if Everman goes on to lose this one, they're going to draw a very tough first-round opponent. Waco could end up with a much easier draw.
How about Mart at Bosqueville?
Well, everyone in Syntex has been talking about this one all year because Mart, kind of a de facto state title favorite at the beginning of the year. We started in preseason #1 and won a D1, and Bosqueville right now is the team that's undefeated. They're 9-0. These two teams are going head-to-head. They're both in the playoffs, but it is for a district title, and the winner is going to get a first-round bye. I'm going to lean towards Mart, even though they're trailing right now, because I'm just not sure anyone's really going to be able to stop the duo of Denarian Thomas and DeMarcus Cosby. That's a great set of skill players. And by the way, none other than Quan Cosby has been asking me about this game, the former Texas Longhorn legend.
And Franklin at Teague, another game we're watching out for here tonight. No score on this one just yet, but interesting game.
Well, Teague quarterback Austin Skinner is the top overall passer in Waco right now. 2,700 yards passing, 37 touchdowns. Holy smokes. These two teams are already in the playoffs. It's for the district title. But again, the winner gets a first-round bye and a little golden trophy for their trophy case. And that is still worth something, folks.
Okay, so good stuff right there. All right, coming up here on Fox Football Friday, the Houston area, plus Lake Travis head coach Hank Carter standing by. We're going to talk with him in just a few moments, too. We'll ask him about Midway. And
I'll let you do it.
Well, yeah, we'll focus more on maybe their first matchup against Flugerville when Fox Football Friday returns. What do you think with Houston usually being our busy? You want to kind of put Hank in San Antonio, or what do you think?
I mean, it kind of depends. I just don't want to waste his time, him standing down here.
I know.
I do. Houston is going to be busy. So if you want to run over there and talk to him real quick and see if what he can do.
Okay, let me see. Ask Jeff Watts also.
Hey, Jeff. Jeff Power is going to go talk to Hank Carter. Okay. Great. Oh, that's completely timeless. We just do that.
Sorry about telling you. No, hey, this game was going to go fast, and it was. That being a good thing, too.
He's cool with it. You want to bring him on for the San Antonio area, maybe?
Yeah, that's ideal.
He kind of, they own that Alamo Dome for years. Most of my highlights are coming from the Alamo Dome in that story, in that documentary. Sealy leads Belleville 10-0, if anybody cares.
It's a huge game for them.
It is. They have to win to get in, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're like, you got to ask him about Midway. We ought to stick with asking about Flugerville. That's fine. And welcome back to Fox Football Friday, powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. It is the Blitz, and as you can see, it is halftime. The famous P right here for Flugerville, and they're taking on Westwood. Let's check in with Angela Heyman, who's with one of the head coaches here tonight for us.
By Coach Wood. Coach, I first want to ask you, you said you were going to use this game to prepare for your first round matchup. Has that worked out so far in the first quarter or first half?
Sure. You know, what we've tried to do is we've tried to see what type of speed Flugerville has, and we've tried to contain it as best we can because we know our next week's opponent has incredible speed. So far, I think we've played pretty good.
And earlier we did talk about Colin McGuire, and you told me he had quite the leg. I noticed that his first two kickoffs went through the uprights. He was with the wind, but still pretty great.
Yeah, he's a special kid. It's a lot of fun when all you have to do is make it to about the 30-yard line, and you know there's a great chance you can get 7 points.
And he did make that field goal as well.
Yes, he did. And so he's a special weapon. We're glad he's on our team.
Well, thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Guys, that's the Fred Lloyd Insurance quote at halftime. Back to you.
Thanks, Angela. I remember a coach, I think it was back in the 70s when Tony Franklin and Russell Erxleben were still kicking for A&M in Texas, talked about how they were kicking field goals from their side of the field. And I remember the coach after the game grumbling and saying, my daddy told me that when you stop the team on their side of the field, you're supposed to get the ball back. And that's what that Colin McGuire kid is. I mean, Coach Wood was telling us he put the ball in their own 48 and booted it, and he kicked a field goal like that once.
All right, let's take a look at some first-half highlights of this game right here, and we'll kind of talk about how we got to this point. Pflugerville, of course, sporting the blue uniforms. A very familiar look. They look like the Dillon Panthers.
Yeah, shocking.
And, of course, Westwood on the move first. Nice play right here, a good gain. In fact, watch out for him tonight. That's Ty Marshall. He is going to get the ball in a lot of open spaces, and he needs 11 catches tonight to reach the century mark for reception. So we'll keep you posted on that. But the touchdown run there by Tanner Osborne, it was 7-0 Westwood. Back comes Pflugerville, looking up top, corner of the end zone, but a flag is thrown down. Yes, that sets up this play. Check it out. The fake handoff, and Blaine Kremitzky with the sack right here by the Westwood defense. That Westwood defense is strong this year and one of their strong points, and they lead right now 10-7 here at the half.
And like you heard Coach West said, a lot of team speed they know they're going to see next week, so you want to get ready for that this week. And he said before the game, we want to give some of our backup seconds and third stringers some time, some meaningful minutes, as meaningful as a game can get really, and still play second stringers. That's not idle talk, because you play these deep teams late in the playoffs, especially in 4A Division I, you need second and third string guys that can put their hand on the ground and actually do something for you.
That's right. Hey, let's move down to the greater Houston area now. How about these winner-take-all season finales? There's a lot of them. Let's begin with 17-5A Cy-Fair at Cy Creek.
Yeah, these are heavyweight win-and-in games as well. Cy-Fair and Cy Creek for sure is a big one. They're already in action tonight. Try and give you a score update that one in just a minute. You've also got Aldine at Eisenhower. That one's a win-and-in in 18-5A. By the way, here is a score update. Cy Creek over Cy-Fair right now, 7-0 at the start of what looks like the second or third quarter. Tough to tell right now. Seven Lakes is at Morton Ranch. That Morton Ranch running back, Dion Williams. How about this, Jeff? Last week, 547 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns. That's third all-time in state history for a single game. I think I knew who Seven Lakes is going to be looking for defensively. And then Waller and Magnolia West facing off for the fourth and final bid in 18-4A.
All right, so some of the games that we're watching out for here in Week 10.
Cow.
Look at this. Summer Creek undefeated. They're up 24-0 on Dayton, who's also undefeated, I might add.
Not going to be any more after tonight. It's one thing to play a really good team and win. It's another to be up 24-0 over a really good team in the second quarter. And the reason why this game is big, well, not only is it for a district title, but two, the loser of this one has to see Nederland in the first round. Wow. And that's a good defensive Nederland team, not who you want to play. The winner is going to get a much easier draw. The loser is going to see Nederland. And right now, that's looking like it's going to be Dayton.
I got to see Summer Creek last week. They are loaded. Good offense. Good quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Fort Bend Bush right now at Fort Bend Hightower. Right now, Hightower up 7-0.
Well, Hightower has the tiebreak over everyone else in this district, which is big because right now Bush, Travis, and Austin are all in the playoffs for sure, which leaves Hightower, Dulles, and Elkins. And like we said, even if Hightower, Dulles, and Elkins all win tonight, Hightower's going to go. If they all lose tonight, Hightower's going to go. So it's very, very critical that Hightower get their win, and they get a loss that I believe Elkins in order to get out of this one alive. But the top three teams, Bush, Travis, Austin, they play these teams here, Hightower, Dulles, Elkins. So all three of them are going to start the night as underdogs. It's going to be a big night in Fort Bend ISD down there.
So one of those 3-3 teams will get in, and the other two will go home.
They will go home.
All right, Katy at Houston Memorial.
Speaking of going home, Katy is just rumbling over everyone these days. Ahmad Vital is on the scene to tell us how these two teams are battling for the top D2 seed. Ahmad, Katy rolling 28-0. Makes sense of the madness for me.
Yeah, man, it's all Katy right now, man. You look in the backfield, you got Rodney Anderson, you got Adam Taylor. Taylor's already got 2 touchdowns. Rodney Anderson has 1. Taylor's already got 64 yards. I think Memorial may have 3 first downs this game. They haven't crossed the 50, but maybe 1. And one time it was already on the other side of the 50. So it's just complete domination going on by Katy right now.
Now, Ahmad, you've been at a game almost every Friday, and I think you've been at a game almost every Thursday. So you've seen upwards of 40 teams so far this year. Is Katy the best of the bunch?
So far, yes. I'd have to say that. North Shore looked pretty good when I saw them play. LaPorte is really hot right now. I like the game they're putting up there. I think Westfield has done pretty good since the last time I saw them as well. But But, I mean, Katie's in a class of its own right now. I mean, right now they can do anything they want offensively, defensively. They haven't thrown too many passes, but the few they have thrown, they've completed a couple. But, you know, with this offense and this defense, this team is just extremely tough right now. And I don't know when they're going to be pushed, but right now they're just not.
All right, Ahmad, thank you. To quote Bum Phillips, I don't know if Katie's in a class all their own, but if they're not, it doesn't take long to call roll. It's a good squad, and we'll try and catch up with you later, Ahmad.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Ahmad. All right, other games we're watching out for tonight. Belleville and Sealy. Good rivalry right there on Highway 36. And Sealy up right now 10-7. What do you say we check in real quick with Jim Turnbull and the gang over there with Sealy Sports Network.
Throw down, has plenty of time, has a man deep in the corner over the top of Wallace. It's going to be caught for a Belleville touchdown.
I don't know what happened to Christian Wallace. He just got lost. He was going back with him, then he just quit running with him. And like maybe he thought the kid couldn't throw it that far or something, but he just kind of...
All right, that was T.J. Mills
awesome.
on the color analyst there, and Jim Turnbull on the play-by-play. And T.J. just keeps it real, doesn't he?
I want him to take my job. He is better at this job than I am. That guy's great.
Of course, T.J. Mills led Sealy to 4 state championships back in the 90s. All right, other games we're watching out for tonight. Alvin at Pasadena Memorial.
Still looking for a score update from this one. The other team that was in the mix with these two was Pasadena Dobie. And those 3 teams, Dobie, Memorial, Alvin, are looking for 2 bids. Well, Dobie lost last night to put them at 4-3 in district. So realistically, Memorial is going to be in pretty much no matter what. It's all going to come down to Alvin. If Alvin wins, they're going to get in. If they lose, they're not. So I think that Memorial will probably beat Alvin tonight, and you'll end up seeing Memorial and Dobie go. But you never know. Alvin can end up making this one a ball game and sending Dobie home for the postseason.
All right, and Clear Springs and Clear Creek. Look at that score. Second quarter, 31-13 Clear Springs. This is a huge game, too.
Well, it's going to clinch an undisputed district title for Clear Springs. Other than that, it's not going to have a major impact. But what does impress me, Jeff, is once upon a time this year, you and I sat at this desk and watched Clear Springs get absolutely dismantled by North Shore. I mean, completely taken apart. And then what they did is they must have just burned the game tape after that and started over. And since that point, they have been a much better football team. And realistically, they've got a chance to do postseason damage. And a couple weeks ago or months ago, when North Shore just destroyed them, we thought that dead and buried. We didn't think they were going to be able to do anything. It's a different story now.
Hey, how about a quick highlight? Let's go to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Plano East, Plano West. Big rivalry, good teams. And let's see what we got right here. Plano West on the move. Touchdown run right up the gut for a TD. And Plano West looking pretty good right there with the early touchdown. And here they are again. Hey, if it works once, try it again, right?
Plano West playing very well. Now, Plano East got their quarterback back tonight in Mario Smalls, but it doesn't matter because the Plano West offense has been dominant. You saw in that first touchdown, the quarterback was going to pitch, but everyone on the defense committed to the back, and he said, well, I mean, I can walk into the end zone. Even I can do that. Touchdown. Let's go down to Houston for another highlight. It's Clear Springs and Clear Creek. That's who we just talked about. Clear Creek here in the red, Springs in the gray and blue, and Clear Creek's going to get away on this one, score a touchdown.
Yeah, so an interesting start right there in this game in the greater Houston area. And these two teams needing a victory. You talked about this scenario with a district title, and I tell you what, they're both giving it all they have right now. We appreciate those highlights from Robert Lake down there in the greater Houston area.
I think that's quarterback Zach Cripps doing a little bit of work, and that is awesome. That is just some, that's footloose dancing right there to find a guy there on the sideline. In for the touchdown, Clear Springs rolling right now.
Okay, when we return, we'll go down to the San Antonio area, and plus Hank Carter from the Lake Travis Cavaliers will join us when Fox Football Friday continues from here in Flugerville.
Sorry, I thought you were telling me that you wanted to make a point, so I was like, all right, I'm out. And you looked at me like, oh no.
I'm pointing at Coach Carter. All right. They made a movie called Coach Carter.
They did. I wish I'd have got some of the royalties off of that.
You'll get royalties off of Jeff's documentary, right?
Some of the parents have picked that thing up.
By the way, Coach, great season in the light of a lot of adversity there. You guys losing kids left and right.
Thank you very much.
Y'all done a great job.
Count to 10 for us there real quick, Hank. Just checking your audio.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Producer wanted you to stop so you wouldn't embarrass yourself.
Please don't mind him.
I appreciate that.
Okay. Angela, our sideline reporter, Marty Aiken's daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's from Austin also. So we're home. Travis is from Houston.
Only so many things you can control in life, right?
That's right.
Where'd you go to high school?
Eustis, Texas. You know where that is?
Oh, yeah. They're in a win-and-in tonight against Lone Oak? Lone Oak.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think it's Lone Oak, yeah.
We didn't have any opportunities to win it in when I played. We were 5-5 most of the time, and that's when they do the little spiel.
My high school's horrible. We were 1-9 this year. They're Clements down in Houston.
Gotcha.
There ain't much to write home about there.
I coached at Bay City. I wasn't too far from there.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I used to play Bay City in soccer growing up, time to time, yeah.
I remember when Bay City would play the El Campo Rice Birds. I loved that matchup.
Bay City was Black Cats, weren't they?
Yeah, Black Cats and Rice
Black
Birds.
Cats is awesome. That's a great one.
So we'll kind of let me probably begin talking about winning the district title. You know, you move up to 5A, you've overcome a lot of injuries. We've got the play where Baker hits Grant Foster.
Welcome back to Fox Football Friday, powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. The Westwood Warriors lead the Flugerville Panthers 10-7 at halftime. I'm Angela Heyman, and I'm joined by Flugerville High School head principal Kirk Wrinkle. Principal Wrinkle, Wendy's believes that a real key to success begins with a good education, and a good education has to happen both on the field and in the classroom. And on behalf of Wendy's, I would like to present this check to Flugerville High School. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. We appreciate Wendy's for everything that they do for high school football in the state of Texas, and we also are proud to have Fox here with us tonight as well.
We're very happy to be here, and the atmosphere is electric. I know that all the students, the team, they're very happy that they're in the playoffs. You know, all three schools from Flugerville are in the playoffs. What's the atmosphere been like around the campus?
Well, it's every year it seems like it's really well because we always do pretty well in football. A few years ago we got the state championship game, and of course it just sets the tone for the rest of the year for every other thing that we do around here. So we always look to have a successful football program because it helps us win in everything else.
Well, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much for being here again.
Back to you guys.
All right, Angela, we do appreciate that. And Hank Carter joining us now. In fact, let's one more quick look at the Wendy's keys to the game.
Hey, I've got a coach next to me. The keys to the game should be easy now. Pflugerville defense, Westwood defense, those were our top two. And in a close game like this at halftime, 10-7, obviously both have come to play, especially the pass rush for Westwood. Explosive Adrian Dilworth, the Pflugerville running back, hadn't been much room to run because the second key there, Westwood's defense, had been all over him. And then roll the dice. I think both teams going a little conservatively tonight. The worst thing that can happen to you tonight, it's not losing, it's losing a kid. You don't want to get someone hurt in a game like this one. So both teams taking it easy and doing what they can to prepare for next week.
All right, so now joining us is Hank Carter, the head coach of the Lake Travis Cavaliers, the 5-time defending champs. Woo. That was in 4A. They move up to 5A and just win the district title in 15-5A.
Wish it was that easy. Thank y'all for having me.
Tell us a little bit about, first of all, this district title last week, the win over Westlake. What a game. In case you missed it, we have some highlights of this. The Lake Travis was put in a situation where they were down. They had a goal line stand, I might add, with your defense down there near the goal line. Westlake had gone for it on 4th and 3, but then Lake Travis gets the play of the year, maybe for the Cavaliers, when Baker Mayfield goes up top to Grant Foster for a 96-yard touchdown. But just kind of take us through what happened, the emotion of that play, and what happened.
Well, anytime you're playing Westlake, you know, we used to play them at the beginning of the season, and it's just a rivalry game. Well, now it's for the district championship. We were going over to their place. It was actually a sold-out ball game. They weren't selling tickets at the game, and really they had the better of us most of the night. But you know, one of the reasons that we believe in the passing game is you're never too far out of the game if you can throw the football. And we have a heck of a quarterback, and he escaped the pocket there and made a great play to Grant Foster.
Now, Coach, it seems like over the past couple years, and feel free to correct me if I'm missing something, but you guys have been pretty lucky. You haven't lost a lot of your big stars to injuries, but this year you've been hurt by him a couple times. You lost Varshawn Nixon. Of course, you lost your wide receiver, Zach Austin, very early. What kind of things have y'all had to do, and what kind of kids have had to step up in the spotlight to help fill some of those voids?
Well, it's been tough, and you know, we've talked about that. We've had some incredible luck and fortune, however you want to look at it. In 2010, my first year as head coach, the injury bug bit us pretty good then, but nothing like this year. You know, we just, from the very get-go, our first scrimmage, we lost a returning starter defensive tackle to an ACL, and then it's just kind of gone on from there. The biggest thing is that we talk about is program and tradition never graduates. That's one of those lines that coaches always use, and we believe in that. And we've had kids that have stepped up. They haven't all been easy. It's been a struggle all year long, to be honest with you, because we've played so many different kids, especially on offense. And on that side of the ball, it's about rhythm and cohesiveness and playing together. And so I'm fired up about how our kids are playing right now, though, and our bye week came at a great time.
Hey, well, I heard a little bit of a buzz around the Lake Travis area. They were saying that they're kind of coming up with that next name. There was the Drive to 5, and I heard someone say the Chase for Sace.
Yeah, that was one of the suggestions, and that went into the box, but we didn't pick that this year.
No. Do you have one?
Tradition continues. That's what it was. We couldn't come up with anything too cool that rhymed, so we just went with that.
Okay. Hey, we're putting together a documentary, by the way, that'll air next month, The Quest for Greatness, the Lake Travis story. Hank's been great all season long, and it's really been a pleasure working with the Lake Travis Cavaliers and just getting a chance to get to know the team. So we look forward to putting that together. And that's Kickstarter.com. You can check out more information about The Quest for Greatness, the Lake Travis story.
All right, thanks a lot.
What do you say we hang around and just go through some highlights real quick? We'll talk about the San Antonio area. District, let's start with this Jay Marshall game, huge game.
I'm going to need a slide rule and then a mathematician to help me get through 27-5A. That is the ultimate in district tiebreaker train wrecks. But the best I can tell you that if Jay wins, they're going to make it because they're a game up on everyone else in that district. And really, they should. They've been in the middle of the pack in 27 all year behind the top two teams, but they've really been the best of the rest. They should win tonight. They should make it. But in typical 27-5A fashion, watch Marshall come back and score 5,000 unanswered points in the last quarter to win.
How about Warren at Clark as we continue to talk about district mess-ups and matchups?
Yeah, no kidding. Clark has battled back into this season after starting off sluggishly. Their running back, Brandon Valley's had a great late-season surge, but I wonder if they may have ran out of gas, and Warren is not the team you want to run out of gas against. You can take, look at here's the middle of the district. Jay, Warren, Holmes, Marshall, and Clark, they're all jam-locked right in there, 4-3 and 3-4 in district. Jay, like we said, is a game up, so if they win, they're in, but all the rest of this, boy, howdy, that's a mess. Remember, Brandon and O'Connor have already clinched up at the top. We need two teams out of the mix, and at this point, it's almost close your eyes and shoot. That's about the good odds of picking teams as any.
How about Seguin? The Matadors at Bernie Champion right now, locked up at 7 in the first quarter. And Coach Carter, feel free to jump in on any of these teams.
Well, I can tell you this, that in the springtime, when you get the districts, you go through the tiebreakers. And during that time, those are long meetings that are boring, and they have nothing to do with football except for the fact you better know exactly what your district tiebreaker is this time of the year to get you.
There's one district coach I call. I will refrain from the district, but I called the coach. He said, "You're going to have to call this other coach." So I called him. He says, "You're going to need to call this other coach." Kept getting handed off all the way. So for this game, though, Seguin, if they win, they take a playoff spot in 27-4A. If Bernie Champion wins, they have to do something wonky and win by 10 or more to beat the point differential and get into the playoffs, too. So just a win may not be good enough for Champion. They need to win and win big, and Seguin's defense may not give them that chance.
How about Buda Hayes? They're leading right now over Alamo Heights, 14-0. That's a team that Lake Travis used to have fits with. Alamo Heights, the Mules trailing right now.
Well, this is a great question for Coach Carter. Coach, Alamo Heights, if they win, they get an undisputed district title, but it really doesn't do anything for them playoff-wise. How important are those district titles to kids, even if they don't mean anything for the postseason?
I think they're huge. We talk to the kids about every practice matters, every play matters, and that's a lot of momentum and a lot of it builds a lot of excitement in your school and and in your program if you can win a district championship. So I know the Mules are trying to win that. Coach felt that Hayes has really got them going. There was a chance we could have played them last year, but they got the way the district race worked out, we didn't catch them, but they've done a good job over there.
And their running back Taven Mayberry is having a heck of a season after starting off a little banged up, Jeff.
How about Divine at Hondo? Another 29-3A game we're looking at tonight.
Okay, we talked a lot about Joseph Sadler, the gingerbread man for Divine last year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they cloned him. That's what they did in the offseason because their new one, Jordan Fraga, has been ridiculous. 2,300 rushing yards, 32 touchdowns in 9 games right now. They're going into the playoffs. They're a district title team regardless. It's Hondo that has playoff implications here. If they win, they get in. If they lose, they're going to need some things to happen. Lytle, Carrizo Springs, Pearsall all rounding out the rest of that 29-3A as we look at the standings. You can see that Hondo's a game up, but if they lose tonight at Divine, which honestly they're probably going to be picked to do, the rest of that district's going to get very dicey. I kind of like Lytle here, actually, to take one of these spots, and then maybe Hondo or Carrizo Springs to round out the coffee.
And how about San Antonio Reagan at San Antonio Roosevelt?
Well, here's the issue we were talking about earlier with Waco and Everman seeds and why they matter. Reagan is probably going to go Division II, which is where Roosevelt's already locked in. If they both go Division II, then that means the loser of this one is going to have to play Smithson Valley in the first round, and that is not who you want to see. And, Coach, that's another great question for you. When you're a coach talking to these kids and you know if you win, maybe you can avoid a tough opponent in the first round. Heck, that's usually the teams are trying to avoid you in the first round. How much can you talk to kids about that and say, hey, if you win, you don't have to play that number 2 or 3 ranked team, or do you even talk about that?
We might, just as a little extra incentive to let the kids know how big the game is. But I go back to it. We tell them every game's important. We want to win every game we go out and suit out for, and especially this time of year. And so you don't want to play somebody like Smithson Valley in the first round. I can promise you that. Those guys, when we played them last year, were young and beat up, and they're more mature now, and they got a heck of a team.
Yeah, and finally, you play Flugerville next week. Give me your thoughts. What do you like so far out of them? What do you think?
I think they're very talented. I saw one of their the running back went down. He's on crutches, and so I know that's a scary thing for Coach Herman over there. We've dealt with that stuff all year long, but they're a good football team. They're not showing all their cards tonight, which I wouldn't expect them to, and they'll probably get a lot of starters out here in the second half.
Okay, hey, let's get to some scores real quick as we take you back to the Wendy score updates. All over the state of Texas, scores kind of rolling in right now. It's like election night.
Exactly.
Hebron and Flower Mound Marcus all tied at 10 in the second quarter. Let's roll out some highlights real quick. And this is Hebron and Marcus.
Hebron here in your blue and black. Holy smokes, what a spin move. Where did he get that? That's going to be a touchdown for Hebron. I believe that's probably Desmond Wortham, their college caliber running back. Now Marcus back on the attack. Get this, their head coach, the quarterback was the coach's son. He tore his ACL. Then his brother, the other quarterback, tore his ACL too. They're definitely on a hurt and run right now.
Skyline leading Bertner 14-7 in the second. West Orange Star, huge game with Silsbee. They're up 13-12 right now. District title on the line. Rouse needs to win by 7 over Vista Ridge. Let's roll some highlights real quick and see how this game's coming along. Again, Rouse needs to win by 7. Rouse on the move right here. Vista Ridge in the red and black. And wow, look at that play right there. That's some speed on down that side. And that's a really good Vista Ridge defense, I might add. And he is in the end zone for the touchdown. This game being played over at Gupton Stadium over in the Cedar Park area. Look at that play. Rouse coming to play, huh?
They know it's this or nothing for them. They've got to make the postseason. But Vandegrift strikes back with a huge touchdown. Not quite one-handed, but we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. That is ridiculous. Touchdown for Vista Ridge. Taking a look at some more scores around Texas now. Corpus Christi Miller has climbed back in front of Ray now, 15-13. Donna's over Juarez Lincoln, a game that Lincoln, has to have. 7-6 right now, Redskins. Orangefield losing to Bridge City. That's a win and in that we'll talk about momentarily. Bridge City up 17-7. And then Orange Grove over Ingleside, 14-7 right now. And like a lot of games we've said tonight, folks, that is one that Orange Grove has to have tonight.
Hey, what do you say? Let's go some more highlights. Dallas-Fort Worth area. DFW for Plano West and Plano East. Now, we showed you before how West kind of jumped on East early. Well, look at this. Back comes East. Look at that play.
No.
Just put it up there. I'll grab it. I can get it.
Sometimes you close your eyes and throw. Coach, when your quarterback throws that ball, what are you saying on the sideline to yourself?
I'm just praying that our guy catches it.
So West leading that one 23-6 over Plano East. All right, let's check in one more time with Angela Heyman down on the sidelines, and we'll be back in a minute. Angela, what do you have?
Thanks, Jeff. Well, I'm joined by Coach Herman. Coach, you told me before the game you wanted to kind of warm up your defense getting ready for that first-round matchup against Lake Travis. Did a pretty good job, and you got a big third-down stopped a pass. What do you think?
Yeah, Jay Bird made a big play on that. I feel like our defense is playing well. Offensively, we made some mistakes, jumped off sides. Got to come back and execute a little bit better on offense.
Well, thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Angela. That's Coach Herman there, and I think he's about right there. Of course, he's hanging in this battle right now. Both these coaches, we're on TV here. Let's win a game, right?
When it comes down to Coach Herman, there's a lot of adjectives I can think of, but the best is pragmatic. I don't think he's ever going to get too bent out of shape about one result one way or the other. He's laser focused.
He's been here for 18 years. Used to coach the defense here at Flugerville.
He knows what's up when it comes to high school football.
He does. Hey, Carter, thank you very much.
Thank
we appreciate
you guys
you being
very
with
much.
us.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Lake Travis will take on Flugerville next week. We'll have highlights of that one. Much more. Fox Football Friday continues from right here in Flugerville. We'll be right back.
Angela, can you hear me perchance?
Yeah, I can hear you.
When you get a chance, see if you can ask someone on the sideline about their running back who went off on crutches, see if they have any update on him.
I will. I am not on that sideline right now, though.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
All right, let's see. Where are we at now? Done with Antonio. Jordan Fraga. I like that name, by the way.
It's awesome, isn't it?
Sounds like Frodo. Think he's ever heard that before?
Yeah, tell me about it.
And welcome back to Fox Football Friday, powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. We are here in Flugerville. They're the Westwood Warrior cheerleaders pumping up their squad right now, and a good game right here. Warriors up 10-7 at halftime, so Westwood leading Flugerville. What do you say we head down to the Permian Basin, talk a little football in that area?
Please do. There's a lot of big games going on there right now, primarily spread across 2 districts, 2-5A and 4-3A. This one's in 2-5A. It's San Angelo Central and Midland Lee. Now, Midland Lee is without running back Jason McAfee tonight, and the reason why, concussion-like symptoms from a week before, and now it's UIL mandatory rules. The kid can't play tonight. It's one of the first times we've seen a star player have to sit out a game because of the concussion rule. It's still a good rule. If Midland Lee wins tonight, they will qualify. They will take the 3rd spot in 2-5A, and then if results hold and Abilene beats Midland, Permian would take your 4th spot. It could be as easy as that. And there's your Abilene score. Abilene over Midland right now, 21-0. So, again, if these results hold, Abilene beats Midland and Midland Lee beats San Angelo Central, your teams in are Midland Lee and Odessa Permian to match up with the Abilene schools. Matter of fact, let's check in on the radio. Check in on Radio Abilene for Midland and Abilene coverage.
Will split out way to the left, and splitting out with him is going to be Eli Banda. On 3rd down, ball on the ground, and it's going to be a sack. Bad snap, and a good job by the Eagle defense as Gabriel Jordan right on top of Connor Beck.
Well, that time, I don't know if it was a bad snap or Beck just dropped it, and by the time he picked it up, there was Gabriel Jordan staring him in the face and drops him for an 8-yard loss. Boy, what a turnaround that was. If you notice, too, Hunter Holcomb has not been out there right now defensively.
All right, so Abilene right now up 21-0 over Midland. Again, Midland loses. Permian, with that victory last night, would get in, which also means San Angelo Central must win to force a 3-way tie at 5-3. And wow, we'll shake this out for you as the night goes on.
Finally, this district's been such a thorn in my side all year, trying to sort out these absolute ridiculous tiebreakers. Looking in elsewhere in the Permian Basin, it's Seminole and Andrews. And Andrews needed a win tonight to get in. Yeah, it's not playing out that way so far. Right now, it's Seminole. Unfortunately, Seminole needs some help. They have to win this one, and then Shallowater needs to win their game tonight, which I think they will. But Shallowater still has to win in order to make this result for Seminole really mean something and to clinch that playoff spot for them.
All right, how about Snyder at Greenwood? No score on this one just yet, but key 2-5A key teams and a district battle that will go a long way and decide it tonight.
All right, all my Football Friday-ins, you're the guys who've done a great job sending in scores to us when we've asked throughout the last couple months. We need one here. Send it to us via Twitter at DCTF. Use the hashtag Football Friday, and folks, I will see it right here in front of me, and we will put it back out on the score for you. And this is a big one because if Snyder wins, it messes up really everything in this district. Greenwood clinches with a win, and they would get the 3rd playoff spot from that district. But if Snyder wins, it opens the door for Sweetwater to get in. It messes up Greenwood. It really throws everything into flux. So if you are a fan of ease, Greenwood is for you. If you like the chaos and you like district tiebreakers and all that weirdness, root for Snyder.
Chaos, all right.
Wow. Very impressive.
All right, so we're going to head out to the Metroplex here in just a moment when Fox Football Friday returns to Pflugerville. They're kicking off the 3rd quarter here. Pflugerville and Westwood. Warriors lead at 10-7. Back to talk more about that and much more when we return.
You want to hear an unbelievable score update?
Yeah.
White House, 24. John Tyler, 0.
Wow. And that would be 4-0 John Tyler and 4-0 White House.
That is 9-0 White House and 8-1
well,
John
okay,
Tyler.
but I mean in district.
Oh, yeah. Nah, that's crazy.
All right. The DF dub. DeSoto take care of business last night?
Yep. District title. All wrapped up. Oh, is that Tepper?
Travis.
Yes.
Was it Adrian Dilworth that went down?
I don't know. Hank Carter, when he was on set with us, said he saw their running back go down and was on crutches. So
I didn't even see that. I must have been interviewing.
Well, I saw a kid crutch. What number is Adrian Dilworth? Can you tell me?
He's 21.
That's him. He just crutched by us. So you may want to check in and see. Not because we want to like spread it over the front news page, but I mean.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Okay, I'll check in.
Hey, Jeff Watts, can you hear me? Any chance we could move a Wendy's score updates to this segment? No, actually, just ignore me. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. All right. Yeah, well, I mean, that's fine. Let's do that then. Do you want to add a couple scores for me to that little 4 spot then? Longview 37. Rockwall nothing. That's halftime.
And welcome back to Fox Football Friday, powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. We're here in Flugerville, Kemple Stadium, Westwood taking on the Flugerville Panthers. Right now the Warriors leading it 10-7. Got the color coordination going on again, I might add. 3 straight weeks for some reason, and we didn't plan it.
Such a fashionista. By the way, mine was in a TV show, so I'm ahead in this battle.
Right. Hey, but hey, I'll take the Warriors. It's all right.
By the way, that was a really good TV show, Friday Night Lights. If you're out there and you love high school football and you haven't seen that show, you should watch it. It's really good.
You know, Coach Herman told me that he had a person come in from Sweden the other day and started talking about wanting to take pictures of the P.
From Sweden?
Yes. So, you know, hey, it's worldwide.
It's from Sweden doing
Hey, let's go to the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, talk a little high school football up there. Probably the best region in the entire state of Texas, I might add. But
boy.
I tell you what, the win and end games, look at this. Timber Creek and Fossil Ridge and 4-5A. Let's start there.
Timber Creek at Fossil Ridge, you're right. Southlake Carroll, and then Justin Northwest and Keller Central have all clinched from 4-5A. So we've got one bid left, and it's going to go to one of these 2 teams. Dallas Hillcrest takes on Dallas Wilson. Those Dallas ISD teams sometimes get overlooked down in Class 4A. And then in 7-3A, it's the greatness of Venus versus the greatness of Alvarado. And I say that because Venus started the year 7-0 and then could still miss the playoffs tonight if they lose. That's how tough that district is, shared with Stephenville and Glenrose, 2 teams that have already clinched. Man, both of those teams are pretty good. Venus, Alvarado. One of them is going to be watching from the couch. That's hard to swallow.
All right, so now let's break down some of the big games in Week 10. We've been showing you highlights of this one. West leading East 23-14 in the battle of the Plano teams. Let's check in real quick with some radio action and find out what's going on.
Austin Polish, the junior, with the tackle. It's going to bring up 4th down. And the Panthers take their final timeout, knowing that with their offense, 47 seconds is an eternity, partner.
All right, let's now take a look at some other games in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, other key games, I might add, throughout this entire area. Here's some highlights here of Plano West and Plano East. And the quarterback here from Plano West getting into the end zone. Had a couple of big touchdown runs early on. Here's another one. Hey, man, just follow your blocks. If you got a hole right there, take it on in. Almost untouched.
And the reason I like that one is because the running back throws the lead block, but East comes back and answers with quarterback Mario Smalls. That's a hope and a prayer, and sometimes a prayer is answered. Small on the big touchdown pass, getting East back into it, but then West, once again, a low snap. Quarterback up the gut. Man, East is going to have to make a halftime adjustment to this ground game, especially from the quarterback with the running back throwing those lead blocks. And Plano West right now up 23-14 and needing a win to get into the postseason.
Let's go ahead and take a look at District 10-5A and kind of sort this out.
Oh, why are you doing this to me? This one's such a heartache. It's very complicated, folks, but West and McKinney-Boyd could both clinch playoff spots and finish the district out tonight with wins. wins. The problem is we just don't know if we'll see either or both of those. If it's East and McKinney, if they win, East plays West, and McKinney plays McKinney-Boyd. If East or McKinney wins, it really makes this district wonky. The best thing I can tell you is that Plano East needs to win, and they need Plano to beat Allen in order for East to clinch a playoff berth, either with McKinney-Boyd and maybe McKinney to fill in that last spot. It's a lot of trouble, to be honest with you. It will make your head explode if I try and explain it. Just right now, if you're a fan of one of these teams, root for a win and then a loss from those teams that you see around you. That's what you need the most right now, trust me.
All right, so let's now move over to Cedar Hill at Midlothian. Right now, 13-all second quarter.
And you know what? This is a very tense 13-13 because like we talked with Coach Hank Carter about a few minutes ago, the loser of this one ends up seeing Hewitt Midway, undefeated Hewitt Midway, in the first round. The team that played in the 4A D1 title game a year ago and looks like could play in the 5A D2 title game this year. You don't want to play that team in the first round. Doesn't matter who you are. So you want to win this game, make sure you can avoid that team and see them in the regional finals instead of in the first round.
Okay, other games that we're keeping an eye out for in the big DFW. How about this? Irving MacArthur trailing Irving 21-14. You got to love all these matchups in Week 10.
Oh, no, this means chaos. If Irving wins, then we're headed for chaos. If Irving MacArthur were to win this one, they would clinch a playoff berth. But if Irving wins, it's going to get things really weird out here because Bell and MacArthur are in the same situation. If they win, they're in. But if Irving wins, that puts them at 4-3 and would drop MacArthur to 4-3. Then it all comes down to Bell. In the worst-case scenario, if Bell loses and they go to 4-3, we've got a three-way tie, and then we're looking at point differential. So we still need a score update on the Bell game, but more than likely, Irving, if they go on to win this game, we're probably headed for a three-way tie because Bell takes on Colleyville Heritage.
How about Little Elm at the Colony tonight?
Well, we've got Greg Tepper, DCTF associate editor out there, and he's got a scoring fest as Little Elm is just going nuts on offense. And I bet you I know where that offense is coming from. Greg Tepper, tell me true, is Little Elm running back Keon Kenner living up to the hype right now?
Well, he sure is. Right now, he has 15 carries for 209 yards and 2 touchdowns.
In the first half?
In the first half. But not to be outdone, it's also very impressive so far has been Brian Hammond, the Colony quarter or running back, who's got 13 carries for 178 yards and 2 touchdowns of his own. But really, the story of this game has been, for lack of a better phrase, a comedy of errors. The Colony has fumbled the ball 6 times, lost 3 of them, including Little Elm taking one back for a touchdown. They've also thrown an interception. And for Little Elm, they've had 2 bad deep snaps on punts that basically cost them 7 points off the bat, had 4 very costly penalties. It's basically who can clean up the best. But, the running backs in this game are living up to the hype. And Travis, I know this will warm your heart. We're in halftime here, and the Colony drill team just did a kick routine to the Star Wars theme. So I know that warms your heart.
I want to go to there. That sounds wonderful right now. Answer me a real quick question. You talked about all the comedy of errors, the fumbles and whatnot. We know this is the biggest game of the year for both of these teams. If Little Elm wins, they're in. The Colony needs to win and get some help to get in. Are we seeing some nerves at work? Is this kid's looking a little tight, knowing what's on the line?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's 100%. You've got guys that are making mistakes they're not used to making, and it's really showing up here, especially with the fumbles on the Colony side. It's been, Brian Hammond, their running back, is normally short-handed, but right now it's looking pretty big for him. But, the running back's living up to the hype, and it's going to be a fun finish here. I think people here are in for a fun one.
Hey, Greg, give us your best Chewbacca impersonation.
Oh, I'm excited about this.
Jeff, you know for a fact that's not going to happen. I don't know why you're asking.
All right, we were just checking. All right, Greg Tepper.
That's actually surprisingly good.
Waxahachie at Ennis. Right now, Waxahachie up 10-0 over Ennis in a second quarter score there.
Now, pick your storyline. First of all, this is a big, big rivalry. We both know it. And if Waxahachie wins, they get into the playoffs. Not only can you beat your rival, you can get into the playoffs too by doing it. Ennis's motivation, besides just, again, beating their big rival, if Ennis wins, they're likely going to avoid either White House or Lancaster. And those are 2 teams you don't want to see in the first round. Get this. Remember we talked about White House playing John Tyler tonight? That's right, John Tyler, the second-ranked team in all of 4A. White House is up 24-0 right now on John Tyler. That's how good that White House team is that Ennis wants to avoid. So Waxahachie needs to win to get in. Ennis needs to win to give itself a good first-round matchup.
All right, how about Argyle at Salina? Right now, Argyle up 17-7 over the Bobcats in the second quarter.
For the district title, both teams unbeaten in district. But the bummer of it is no matter who wins or loses, you're you're catching a pretty good team in the first round. The loser of this one is going to have to take on Gainesville, and the winner of this one ends up taking on Crum, who's 9-1 on the season. Bummer to win your district and play a 9-1 team in the first round. But these two teams are both very talented and great defensively. No matter who wins or loses, both of these teams are legitimate title contenders.
All right, how about some highlights? How about Hebron and Flower Mound Marcus? We gave you a sneak peek early on. Some crazy plays in this game already. And we'd like to see that on Fox Football Friday with the unexpected.
Watch this.
Look at this play right
Watch
here.
This.
Follow the blocks. Perfect. Nice move. Did you see that spin move? That was fantastic.
Unbelievable.
His knees.
And they've not always been healthy. I believe that's running back.
There's legs on the field.
That's right.
Broken legs.
Flower Mound Marcus comes back with the halfback pass. They get a touchdown there. This game has been close and competitive, 10-10. And I mentioned this earlier. I just want to make sure I articulate it correctly. Marcus's top two quarterbacks, who are both the head coach's sons, out for the season with torn ACL. So they've had a really tough run of things, but they can still find. They're actually, both of these teams are in the playoffs, but it could end up determining seedings as well.
Okay. All right. When we come back, we'll talk about the Hill Country when Fox Football Friday continues from here in Pflugerville. Cameraman down, cameraman.
Yes. I'd like to talk to Kenny Caps.
Man, I can do a much better Chewbacca impersonation than that. Oh no. Lost it there.
Yeah, a little weird at the end.
Someone did score. No. Still 10-7. This is kind of what I thought it was going to be. Defense.
Oh, yeah.
Because then they went 4 and out. So
you know, it's funny. A few years ago, the Hill Country was known for the offense, and now the teams around here play great defense.
It's just culture change.
I'm getting ready to pounce on that quarterback as soon as the quarter's over. Very.
What? It feels great.
Well, my definition of very may be different than yours.
Yeah, it's got below 80. Someone get her a parka.
Okay, mister, can I have some more apple cider?
God, that is me too, isn't it? Yeah.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah, some hot chocolate sounds good.
I'm not.
Val.
Whoa.
Val.
Whoa.
I'm just kidding.
We have some of this.
We have got a sarcastic crew out here. And I'm offended by that because I just try and be an honest citizen and respectful to all.
Sorry, Travis.
That's right. I'm jonesing for some.
Football Friday Blitz is presented by your Texas Ford dealers. It's the year-end celebration at your Texas Ford dealer. Enjoy great savings on the freshest lineup. Ford is the best in Texas. By Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. And by Wendy's. Be bold with Wendy's Asiago Ranch Chicken Club and spicy, home style, or grill. Try one today.
And welcome to Fox Football Friday, powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. We are in the Hill Country. It is Pflugerville taking on Westwood. Great game right here, I might add. Defensive battle. We were just talking about this in the break about how a few years ago this Hill Country was kind of known for a lot of the offensive powerhouses. Well, now it's kind of turned defensive. I mean, look at some of the top teams around here. Lake Travis, good defense. Pflugerville, Westwood, great defense.
Cedar Park.
Westlake, good defense. Cedar Park, Vista Ridge, all really good defense.
Well, that would have been a great question for Hank Carter when he was here, but I bet you part of the reason why why was whenever you get a bunch of teams that are hot offensively, coaches sit down in the offseason and they say, well, we're going to have to get better on defense if we want to beat these teams. We're not going to be able to win in shootouts. So all the coaches sit down, they pull out the grease boards, they draw a bunch of diagrams, they get better. And that was what Coach Wood with Westwood was telling us before the game is, hey, we've made strides defensively because that's what the region demanded. That's what you had to do to compete around here, start to play D.
Stop putting all the athletes on offense and put a few in the secondary or linebacker. That's what you have to do.
That's right.
All right, let's take a look at this Hill Country area. Big game, obviously, between Rouse and Vista Ridge. What do you say we start there? Rouse leading 28-10. We'll kind of show you how they got to this point. This is a Rouse team that needs to win this game by 7 points, and this is one way to get it done. Watch this run right here. Look at that, Travis. Is that some speed?
Yeah.
Look at the tiptoeing down the sidelines, I might add.
Yeah, great block on the outside, too.
Fantastic. Yeah, fantastic run right there, right down that sideline.
Now, remember, we said that Rouse not only had to win, they had to win by 7 or more tonight, like Jeff said, and they've got both of those boxes checked right now. They're leading, and they're winning by 18. If they go on to hold that score, man, that's a great catch. If they go on to hold this score, they would clinch, and even though they would lose tonight, Vista Ridge would clinch, and Vandegrift would be out. Vista Ridge is technically already in, but Vandegrift would be out if Rouse holds this result in at least this margin.
Yeah, so Rouse coming out fired up. But let's look at this District 25 4A key games and the standings.
Well, one other moving part here is where Cedar Park goes, and that's big because Cedar Park is legitimately a title contending team. If it is Rouse that makes the playoffs, it actually drops Cedar Park into Division II, which is the division for the smaller schools. It's not done based on ability or talent. It's done purely on enrollment. So if Rouse makes it in, Cedar Park drops to D2. If it is Vandegrift that is in the playoffs instead of Rouse, Cedar Park actually moves to Division I, and then they would see Austin LBJ in the first round. Sounds like semantics, but it's not. Cedar Park would be in a completely different playoff picture, a whole different bracket, which would make a huge impact on who could be your state title teams.
By the way, that Billy Ray McCrary was on the guy on that run there. That was the first possession of the game, first play from scrimmage. All right, let's now take a look at this bracket board as Class 4A Division II, Region 3. The bottom half kind of shaping up like that. Woo, look at that.
Pop the bubbly, Jeff. It's our first bracket board of the year. This is 4A Division 2, yeah, Region 3. And this is actually just the top half of that bracket, but it's Elgin, Brenham, Barbers Hill, and Viter. Those are your teams from 17, 18, 19, and 20A. That's the 4A, the districts. Still looking for our team out of 21, but Fort Bend Marshall takes 22. Lamar Consolidated and Texas City, they fill in the bottom two of that bracket.
So that's the first of about 700 brackets.
Yeah,
all right,
that's
Stony Point and Round Rock right now all knotted up at 17. Both these teams needing a win to get in.
Huge game. And realistically, the winner here is probably going to get in as long as Stony Point were to win by at least 11. Because Cedar Ridge is probably going to beat McNeil tonight, which means if Stony Point wins, you're going to see a three-way tie between these two and Cedar Ridge. To beat that spread, Stony Point would have to have at least an 11-point win here tonight. But I think in the end, Round Rock's going to win anyway, and I think they'll end up taking the 4th spot into the playoffs.
And this is a big rivalry, too. They play over at Dragon Stadium. Burnett and Lampasas right now. Burnett up big, 20-0. The Bulldogs rolling.
Well, both this game and the next one, Gatesville, Liberty Hill, we'll look at both of these scores. They're very important. The results you saw there, Gatesville leading Liberty Hill and Burnett leading Lampasas. Those two results, if they hold, would put Burnett into the postseason. Burnett has to win, and Liberty Hill has to lose. And right now, we're well on track for that. If that happens, this is a big deal. Burnett would go into Division I, and their first-round opponent, Stephenville, not the team you want to see. If for somehow Burnett loses tonight and Liberty Hill finds a way to leapfrog them into the playoffs, it's actually Brownwood that goes Division I, and they have Stephenville in the first round. But right now, looks like we're going to have Burnett taking the 3rd and final playoff spot out of 8-3A.
You're talking about some storied programs right there.
You betcha.
At Flugerville Connolly, just down the road from here. Connolly up right now 10-0 on Maynard.
Well, just like we have Flugerville behind us in a game with really no impact, this is another one. But I think this is key for Maynard specifically and Connolly as a final tune-up, and here's the reason why. Connolly went out against Georgetown and got smashed. Georgetown ended up winning the district title, and that's all well and good. But I think Connolly needs a bounce-back game. You don't want to go into the playoffs smarting like they are after that loss. I think a big or even just a comfortable win here would put them mentally back on the right track heading into the postseason.
All right, so how about let's check in real quick. We'll get some 6-man?
6-man or 6-man game of the week. We only got one of them. It's Ken Capps on site for Cedar Park Summit and Waco Vanguard. Kenny Capps, give us a score update and tell us how your 6-man affair is going out there.
Well, Well, guys, it's a beautiful night here in the Hill Country northwest of Austin. Right now it's 14-6. The Vanguard Vikings are up at the half after a terrific goal line stand by the Vikings to keep the Eagles from Summit Christian out of the end zone. Now, the Eagles are an interesting story. They were 6-man. They went up to 11-man, and then they saw the light and came back to 6-man this year. So they've got a really, really spirited program, great hospitality, and by the way, great brisket here. The Eagles, you always have to bring in the brisket. The Eagles also are very unique in 6-man in that they have one of the largest cheer squads in the state of Texas. They start suiting up their young ladies in the first grade in the red, white, and blue. So they have about 100 cheerleaders on the field rooting on the Eagles. And one other quick thing, no matter who wins tonight, these players and cheerleaders and fans have a big, big postseason ahead. They are going on a mission trip to Washington, D.C. to help out at the presidential inauguration. Isn't that cool?
That's fantastic. Hey, Ken, one quick question. Hey, 6-man, let's talk. Grand Falls Royalty beat Sanderson to finish 10-0. They've only allowed 3 touchdowns this year. Also, we had highlights earlier of Lenore Grady with their 40-32 win over Klondike. Grady plays Ropesville Ropes next Friday in Ackerley Sands. Give me your thoughts about some of the football out there in that big country area and just how huge 6-man football is out that way.
Well, I mean, obviously, out there, 6-man is everything. And I think what you're seeing right now is not only a 6-man blossoming and continuing to really do well in the big country in West Texas, but places like here in Cedar Park and in Dallas and in private schools, it's really coming on as a sport again because these smaller schools want to keep their athletes in school. They may not have enough kids to play 11-man, so they play 6.
It works. We appreciate you, Ken. Thank you so much. Yeah, go ahead, Ken.
Well, I was just going to say one last thing before I go. Please let me say this, guys. I just want you guys to join me in missing Darrell K. Royal right now. Folks were talking about it tonight at the game here at Cedar Park. You know, high school coaches, players, administrators, everybody across Texas loved this man. He was so great for college, but he was so great for football. And Jeff and Travis, I'm sure you'll join me in wishing his beautiful wife, Edith, and his family all the best, and keep them in your thoughts and prayers.
We will. Thank you for mentioning that, Ken. And we are seeing some video right now of Darrell K. Royal, passed away Wednesday morning here in Austin. Of course, Darrell K. Royal, 88 years old, and he will be missed. Former University of Texas head football coach. All right. Thank you, Ken Capps. Do appreciate that. Always good to get the 6-man update. Take care of all the classifications. We'll talk about Golden Triangle in a minute, but let's do a little highlights. One more before we just got this in. Copper's Cove taking on Harker Heights, and right now we do have it as 14-0 Copper's Cove leading, but I think we've got some highlights here, so let's show you what we've got going on. This, of course, a big game, some playoff implications in this one as well.
Copper's Cove in the blue, they're in the end zone once. Let's make it a double with that vaunted ground game of theirs, and why does this result matter? Well, it makes another team in blue very happy. That's Temple, because if Copper's Cove goes on to win tonight, they're already in the playoffs, and so is Harker Heights. But if Copper's Cove goes on to win, it clinches Temple into the 4th spot in 8-5A. If this result flip-flops and Harker Heights charges back and takes the lead and wins it, it would actually put Killeen in the playoffs. But as of right now, you're going to see Temple getting the 4th spot here.
Teams all rooting for each other. How about Marshall and Jay, San Antonio area football? Always like to thank KABB, Hector Ledesma. They do a great job down there. San Antonio area football, and it's been pretty powerful this year. There's Marshall on the roll, on the move to the outside.
Against John Jay in the blue, and Jay has been, like we said earlier, middle of the pack team, but largely the best of the rest. And defense is a reason why. Big interception there, halts a Marshall drive, and defense has been the story of the game so far for San Antonio Jay, 7-0. While we're talking about San Antonio, on the Twitter on the side of your screen, look at that. Clark has charged back out in front of Warren, 13-10.
All right, let's check in with Angela Heyman real quick on the sidelines and get a little update on the game going on behind us.
Thanks, Jeff. Well, right now I'm joined by Westwood starting quarterback Bear Fenimore. He's sitting out this game. Coach Wood giving him a little bit of rest, getting him ready for the playoffs. But I see you're still being a leader on the sidelines. You just mentioned to me that the defense is playing really well, giving you guys good field position.
Yeah, defense is doing real well. We got a lot of great leaders out here. Flugerville's playing a hard-fought game, but right now I just feel like, we're giving it our all, and we're just going to keep on doing our best.
And obviously, one of the best quarterbacks in the area. Your coach had a lot of great things to say about you, and I have noticed that you've been learning from some greats. You went to the IMG Academy, and you were coached by Chris Winkie, correct?
I was coached by Chris Winkie. He's a good guy, but I'm also coached by Ty Detmer, another Heisman winner. So a lot of things that I can pick their brains on, and that's a lot of field experience that they have, and learn from those two guys are great.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, and good luck in the first round of the playoffs the rest of tonight.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
All right, that was Bear Fenimore. He's an Alabama Crimson Tide fan. No word for sure if he might be going to school there.
I'm not putting a bug in anyone's ear.
Well, he's getting looked at, and also LSU looking at him, so we'll keep you posted. Hey, look at this. Longview leading Rockwall 37-0 at the half.
That'll put them in the playoffs.
And Joaquin up 15-14 on Harleton in the second. Atlanta leads Pittsburgh 20-6 in your NFL action game. And Amarillo up on Tumas 27-7 at the break.
Like we said, Longview, they get into the playoffs with that win. Atlanta, they need that win over Pittsburgh too, so a bunch of key scores in that mix.
And that is our Wendy's Real Score updates. All right, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back with much more here in Pflugerville as Westwood and Pflugerville do battle. It's 10-7. Warriors lead it in the third. Alabama and LSU, maybe so.
Hey, sports, good job.
IMG plug?
What?
You like my IMG plug?
Ah, yes. Thank you for that. Unfortunately, it does absolutely nothing for me.
Oh, sorry. Well, Adam will like it.
Well, we had a State Farm truck on the air.
Everyone's always trying to suck up to Adam. God, I hate that man. I'm just kidding.
Oh, boy.
Oh, I love Adam. By the way, my wife can't find the show anywhere, and I know I get the channel, so. Best show of the year being seen by crickets.
Hey, what about our folks on Dave Campbell Texas Football website?
That's a good point.
You're watching us right now. Thank you, folks, for watching us. We'll
do
try to
love
figure
you.
out where we're on TV tonight.
What would we do without Dave Campbell's fans? What would we do without you people?
I like Ken Capps. He's a pretty funny guy.
He knows his business. He used to work in TVs when he was closer to my age.
Familiar. I wonder if he's related to Mike Capps, who he's the Round Rock Express play-by-play man.
Maybe. Doubt it.
He was a broadcaster for CNN, covered the Iraqi war and everything. And welcome back to Fox Football Friday, powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. We are here at Kemple Stadium in Pflugerville, where Westwood and Pflugerville doing battle in this one. And last week we got a chance to go to the Golden Triangle area, saw some great football out there. Some great squads. West Orange Stark still undefeated. They're in a battle tonight with Silsbee. Let's talk about some of those games. Orangefield at Bridge City comes to mind here in Week 10. Right now, Bridge City leading at 17-13. Good rivalry and a good game.
Well, Bridge City was really stretching their legs out early, but Orangefield has clawed their way back into it. And this one means a lot because, A, it's a win and in. The winner gets into the playoffs, the loser is out. But also because Orangefield's coach, Josh Smalley, who took over in the offseason, well, he used to be the offensive coordinator at Bridge City. You grew up in Bridge City. He even played at Bridge City, so he knows that program inside and out. And I guess, you always want to coach at your alma mater, but you always want to beat them, too, if you're coaching for someone else. And I know that Orangefield has got all the motivation in the world tonight with that and the playoffs on the line.
Beaumont Central at Nederland. Nederland taking care of business, up 28-7 right now.
Well, both this result and the next one are really going to decide the fate of 24A because Beaumont Central, they need a kind of a win tonight to get in. And then in our next game, Vidor at Little Cypress Mauriceville, LCM needs a win as well. Either of those teams could really get in if they get a victory. Central would have the tiebreak there. But things get very dangerous if Central and LCM both lose, which they're going to be picked to do, because if that happens, all of a sudden, from way back behind Beaumont Ozan, which is sitting at 2-4 in district, if they, as you see, LCM trailing to Vidor at halftime right now, if Ozan does go on to win, they play Lumberton and they should beat them, then Beaumont Ozan would be 3-4, and LCM and Central would both be 3-4. And that means Ozan, believe it or not, through tie breaks, they'd get in. So Ozan could actually make the playoffs after being so dead and buried a couple weeks ago if all the results right now hold. As unbelievable as that sounds, either Central or LCM is going to have to step up and play a better second half if they want to get themselves in the postseason and keep from getting nipped from behind by Ozan.
Huge game in this area tonight between LaPorte and Port Arthur Memorial. District title on the line. LaPorte has been rolling lately. In fact, let's check in with Legacy Sports Network and find out what is going on.
Not on their side. They're out here on the offense to start the second half, and they would like to see if they could dent the score a little bit here. But going against a very tough defense, it's going to bring up a 2nd and 14 from the 50. So this time, 2 backs in the backfield. And they're bringing John Leday offset with Mayfield and Singleton in the shotgun. Play action fake. Singleton drops back, throws a little one over the middle, and it is juggled and intercepted. Intercepted right at the 50. Near sideline. Running it back, and it is going to be Javi Marks. Check that. It's not Marks, it was Victor Holmes on the deflection. They were throwing over the middle. Holmes caught the deflection right near about the 45-yard line.
All right, so there you go. LaPorte and Port Arthur Memorial right now. Dogs up 37-19, and I tell you, Memorial, we saw them last week, a good football team, but they got a little road to hoe right now.
Well, LaPorte, they're going to win an undisputed district title if this result holds, and they're going to deserve it because they will have now beaten North Shore and Port Arthur Memorial in back-to-back weeks by impressive margins. That team is good.
All right, how about West Orange Stark and Silsbee? Talked about this one earlier. Of course, West Orange Stark having a fantastic season, undefeated, but they've got themselves a tussle tonight with Silsbee up 19-12 in the third.
First of all, it's amazing because this game is close because West Orange Stark has just mauled everybody. But most importantly, Stark was coming into this game, Jeff. They've allowed 20 points all season, not per game, all season. So Silsbee having 12 right now in the third quarter, that's akin to anyone else scoring 50 on someone else by the same mark. So West Orange Stark's your favorite. Both these teams are in the playoffs already. This is largely for a district title, but also to really put some confidence in Silsbee if they can knock off this fantastic Mustangs team tonight.
Okay, how about 3A Division I Region 3 bracket board? You ready? Bracket board number 2?
Second bracket board of the season. Now, the reason we targeted this was because of Silsbee. They're going to go to the D1 bracket. This is the entirety of Region 3 since Division I takes one less team than Division 2 does. But Taylor, they need an opponent for by district. Carthage and Fairfield have a first-round matchup. Silsbee, they're still looking for a team to play. That would be District 22 3A. They still need a team from. And then Houston, Yates, and Stafford. Will meet up in the first round as well. So Yates in their first season down from Class 4A.
I have a prediction. Yates will win the basketball title in Class 3A.
You know what? You're probably right. It's pretty tough to argue with that kind of logic.
All right, Kuntz and Anuak right now. Right now, Kuntz up 14-8 at the break.
Well, I don't think Kuntz can find a way into the postseason, which means their long playoff drought since 1973, in fact, is going to continue. But they can still play for pride. And if they knock off Anuak tonight, that would more or less be it for Anuak. They'd be stuck at 3-4, and Kirbyville has a very winnable game tonight against Warren. And if Kirbyville wins and Anuak loses, Kirbyville takes your third spot, and that's the end of it right there. So we'll have to see how those two results play out, but right now, Kirbyville's looking pretty.
You know, this is the time of year where a lot of those playoff-bound teams around that third and fourth spot, those are the key games tonight. Those are the ones where people are playing for their lives.
And you know what? It happens every year. You get at least one team, always in 5A, you get at least one team who is unranked at the start of the playoffs who wins a state title. I think it's happened every year in 5A, except for maybe last year. It's happened every year in 5A over the past 3-4 seasons.
Spring to Caney.
Right, and sometimes those 3 and 4th teams in district, they can make the difference. Yep. It just totally changes things. Getting into that last week, all of a sudden you're hot. It's just like the NFL. You get one game a week. You only have to win once to get to the next round. It's
baseball, too. You know, those wild card teams always do really well. Let's check in with Angela Heyman real quick and get an update down on the sidelines. Angela?
Thanks, guys. Well, I am joined by this week's Academy team behind the team. It's the Pflugerville High School varsity cheerleaders. And next to me, it's Katie. She is the team captain. And Katie, I can tell everyone is very excited. And you girls have done a great job tonight supporting your football team.
Thank you. Yes, they're going to playoffs, so we are super pumped up. They've been playing together for years, and we just want to follow them and cheer them on the whole way there.
What has the atmosphere around the school been like since it was confirmed that Pflugerville had made the playoffs?
Oh, the teachers, the staff, all the students, we are all so pumped up. That's all we talk about. We live and breathe football.
Well, thanks, girls. We're glad to have you here, and we hope your team does well in the playoffs.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
All right, Angela, we do appreciate that. I love the fan base here in Flugerville. They do love their football.
Well, they've been around a long time. You talked about the 55-game win streak. Those things don't happen just overnight.
That's true. That is too. Charles Kimball, he is with us out here tonight as well. 85 years old, looking good, and Fox Football Friday will continue in just a moment. That would be a Panther. It's been 10-7 forever. Are we in the fourth quarter or is this the third quarter?
No, I think we're in the fourth quarter.
How are y'all doing? All right, 10-7, fourth quarter, 4:44 to play. What do both coaches look at each other and say, hey, let's just run the clock?
Wow. Summer Creek is beating Dayton 45-7. That is not a good game.
Are we going to move the set to the game down the street when this one ends in 5 minutes?
Shoot, we should. I wish our cables were long enough. We could send Angela out there and
go
have
to
her
Flugerville Connolly.
That'd be awesome.
It's right down the road. That's off of I-35 and Palmer.
Adrian Dilworth. Oh, I was just telling you that I have something.
What is it?
He's got
it's a surprise.
A bruised thigh, and they're holding him out of this game for precautionary measures.
Let's just say that.
That's what I'm going to.
He's 21.
He's number 21.
Blue.
Pink. Blue.
Blue.
Pink.
Yeah, let's just say that he's got a bruised thigh, holding him out for precautionary reasons.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Travis. Thanks.
Okay. I was actually talking to Jeff at that one. But,
wait, I'm giving the update. You're not.
I didn't know if you wanted to or not.
Heck yeah, I want to.
Hey, Jeff, let's not toss down to her.
That's why I didn't want to tell you.
Oh, gosh.
And now for an update, let's just do it here at the desk.
You're stealing my thunder.
Get some updated Rouse.
I'm also going to credit it to Jeff, too. I'm going to be like, well, Jeff got up in the break here and wandered down to the sideline and checked in on Adrian Dilworth.
Yeah. I'll show you.
Don't worry, Angela. I got your back.
The only way you can really show me would be if you...
And welcome back to Fox Football Friday, powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. If you haven't picked up the latest edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine, the best publication for high school football.
I have one right here.
Football. There we go.
Don't leave home without it.
Don't leave home without it. Hey, let's check in with Angela Heyman, and let's get a little injury update on one of the Pflugerville players. Angela?
Thanks, Jeff. Well, Pflugerville is currently driving, but I did want to give you that update on Adrian Dilworth. I was told that it's a bruised thigh, and they're just holding him out of this game for precautionary measures, but he should be all right.
All right, we do appreciate that. So Adrian Dilworth with the bruised thigh right there, and I think good call by Coach. This game really isn't going to have any bearing next week in the postseason. Both these teams already know who they're going to play and where they're going to play.
And you know, when you bruise a thigh like that, usually when you get a helmet either on top of or in the side of the thigh, it hurts. Oh, yeah. It sounds really minor, but it really hurts.
Ask any running back about
exactly.
that.
And the worst thing to do is to run around and cut on it. So you just want to get off it, let the swelling go down, and try and get that bruise to heal out before you start next week.
Yeah. All right, big country now. Let's talk about the win and in games and get you set up here as we move out west.
Well, like the Panhandle, there's a bunch of them, and they're all clustered in the small school ranks. You've got Comfort at Early. That's kind of in the big country, although Comfort kind of swings down to the southern fringe of it. Winners at Forsan. They're in 4A Division I. Bront at San Angelo TLC, and Cristobal at Miles, both of those in 6-1A Division II. So that's a little odd. You have one team in that district who's in for sure already. That's El Dorado. Then you have Bronx, San Angelo, Cristobal at Miles. The winner of both of those two games take the last two spots. How's that for making things easy for you?
Yeah, that is. All right, so let's talk now about Sweetwater at Abilene Wiley. Look at this. Wiley up 35-13 right now.
Well, it's not looking good because Sweetwater needed a win here, and it was always a long shot because Abilene Wiley hasn't lost all season. But Sweetwater needed a win and a Greenwood loss. Let's check in and see the latest update with Abilene and Sweetwater on Bulldogs Live Online. Well, looks like may not have it. We'll try and check back in there a little bit later, but you saw the most important update, and that's the score. 35-13, Abilene up right now over Sweetwater and putting Sweetwater maybe even a little bit past the brink for a playoff berth.
All right, how about Cisco at Ballinger, District 4, 2A.
Division 2. Cisco is already in the playoffs. Ballinger is in with a win or a loss from Coleman. And Coleman plays Colorado City, and that is Colorado, folks. Colorado City. So Coleman's probably going to lose. So Ballinger could come out on the wrong end of this one tonight and still make the postseason. They just need Colorado City to take care of business against Coleman, too.
All right, other games we're watching out for. Anson at Stanford. Big game right here. What a great season for these two teams. Of course, Stanford with a nice run last year in the postseason, and they're up right now by 7 at the half.
That's right. Last year's 1A Division I state finalists. They brought back quarterback Hajan Hutchinson, who is just awesome. Maybe the best overall player in 1A outside of Monday's D. Paul. And this game was always going to be good because it's for the district title, for a first-round bye, and how's this? The loser is probably going to see Windthorst in the first round, and that's no pushover.
Anson, the team, well, they didn't win last year, right? And this year they've completely turned it around?
That's a great job, Jeff. That's exactly right. They were in 2A last year and were 0-10. And this year they're going to the playoffs. An unbelievable turnaround. We're going to talk about an even more incredible one in just a few minutes when we talk about Savoy. So if you're a Savoy fan, stay tuned for that.
All right, how about Hamlin at Albany? Of course, Hamlin, the Pied Pipers. Got to love that name.
Such a great mascot. One of the best. This game, just like the previous one, it's for the district title and for a first-round bye. Both these teams are in the playoffs already, so if you lose, it's not like you're falling out of the playoff picture, but I do like Albany, and it's because of quarterback Jake Bumgardner. I think he is just the bee's knees in 1A, to borrow an old phrase.
Cristobal, the home of Jack Pardee at Miles.
Well, we don't have a score for that one. If you have it, send it to us via Twitter at @DCTF with hashtag Football Friday. But again, like we said earlier, the winner is in, same as Bront and San Angelo Central TLC. Two big games, two teams are in the playoff picture next week. Two teams are going home.
All right, so that's a look at the big country, and we'll keep you informed all night long. Of course, Abilene, Wiley, and Sweetwater, one of the big games right there. This one right here, it's 10-7. That was the score at the half. Westwood was leading. They still lead by that same margin, and we're very late in the game, only about a minute and a half to play. These two teams really love to run the football. They kind of letting that clock roll a little bit. So we'll keep you posted here. But next, we're going to take you down to the Valley when Fox Football Friday continues. We're in Flugerville. We'll be right back to take you to the Valley in a moment. Let's get Westwood head coach Anthony Wood on the set if we can, maybe.
I mean, he's a great interview. It'd be a good opportunity. We can still get Angelo to do the post-game interview, and then once he's done addressing his team, we'll bring him here. Well, I mean, whoever wins, but yeah, I mean, assuming they go on to win. Angelo,
he'll do it.
Just let Angelo talk to him. I'm sure he would love to, but. That's actually probably true.
Thank you.
Man.
Well, we know that. So we know Westwood's playing. Hey, Angela, just a reminder, Westwood will play Del Valley Thursday at the Palace. It's called Reeves Athletic Complex. That's Westwood's home. That's Thursday, okay? And Del Valley won last night.
The Palace?
Yeah, we call it the Palace on Parmer.
The Palace on Parmer.
Yeah, it's called Reeves Athletic Complex, though, to be specific.
They played Del Valley Thursday at Reeves Athletic Complex.
Yep. And remember, that was the game that got moved because of Formula One, if you care. Okay.
Football Friday Blitz is presented by your Texas Ford dealers. It's the year-end celebration at your Texas Ford dealer. Enjoy great savings on the freshest lineup. Ford is the best in Texas. By Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. And by Wendy's. Be bold with Wendy's Asiago Ranch Chicken Club and spicy, home style, or grill. Try one today.
And welcome back to Fox Football Friday. It's the Blitz powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. And this game just went final. Westwood defeated Flugerville 10-7, your final score, as the Warriors taking care of business. Both these teams in the postseason. More on that in just a moment. In fact, let's go ahead and check in real quick with Angela Heyman, who's with Anthony Wood, I believe, the head coach at Westwood.
I am with Coach Wood. Coach, you get the W going into the playoffs. That's always big.
Oh, absolutely. You know, especially the way we played tonight. Our defense, again, came through and played really good. Our kids battled through on offense with some guys that didn't really get to play tonight. And so we're pleased with our effort, and we're pleased with the outcome of the game.
You're going to face Del Valley next Thursday night. You guys ready?
Well, I hope so. They're a fast, athletic football team. You know, we're gonna show up and play, and hopefully we'll come out on top.
And you talked before the game, you wanted to give some of those second-string guys a chance, and you did tonight, and they looked pretty good.
You know, we had a couple of sophomores in there on the offensive line. We had a backup quarterback take every single rep. We had some second-string receivers get in there and play well. Defensively, we didn't get as many guys in on defense as we would have liked to, but overall, we're very pleased with our guys on offense and our guys on defense and how we played the game.
Well, thanks, Coach. Good luck next week against Del Valley.
Thank you, and I appreciate you guys coming out. It turned out to be a good game.
It was a good game. We've enjoyed it. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Guys, back to you at the Academy Sports Desk, and that was the Fred Loya Insurance quote of the night.
All right, Angela, do appreciate that. So Westwood wins it 10-7 over Flugerville. And as Angela mentioned, Westwood will play Del Valley Thursday at the Palace on Parmer. Flugerville will take on Lake Travis, that game being played in Georgetown Friday.
So big games all the way across the hill country, and I'm really interested. I hope we can get Coach Wood up here on the set a little bit later to ask him about the evolution of their defense. Because I promise you, if you played this Flugerville team with this Westwood squad 4 years ago, they wouldn't have given up 7. It would have been a lot more than that. They've really made great strides there. I want to talk to you about that.
Both teams definitely improving on the defensive side of the ball. Hey, let's head down to the Valley. What do you say? Let's talk about the teams that are the win and in situation games.
Well, there's 2 of them, and they're both down in Class 3A. It's Lyford at Raymondville, and then in 32-3A, you've got Hidalgo at La Feria. And to a certain extent, these 3A districts in the Valley have been overshadowed by the 5A districts in the Valley, 30, 31, and 32 5A, which have been so competitive. But these 2 districts have just been chugging along. And this may, the loser of these 2 games may not necessarily be out of the postseason picture, but the winner will definitely be in. So if you can get that win and get yourself in right now, not have to worry about tie breaks and head-to-heads and all that mathematical mumbo-jumbo, just go and get yourself a win, please.
Hey, games we're watching out for here in Week 10. How about Edinburgh, Economides at La Jolla, Palmview. Right now, Palmview up 21-17 at the half.
Okay, well, Economides had a game on a silver platter tonight because they should beat Palmview. And if they do, the only thing separating them from a playoff berth would be Juarez Lincoln. And guess what? Juarez Lincoln plays a very, very good Donna team tonight, and they're expected to lose. Economides win with a Juarez Lincoln loss puts Economides in. But right now, Economides isn't holding up their end of the bargain. So if they can find a way to switch the script at halftime and come out ahead, going to give themselves a chance. But if they lose, that's more or less church.
All right, Gabe Pena doing a good job there at Economides. We'll see if we can get it done. How about McAllen Rowe at Weslaco East?
Man, McAllen Rowe, a team we had a great time watching a couple months ago at this point at Fox Football Friday with quarterback Javi Obregon. they're on the brink in a bad way. They've got to win tonight. They need McAllen to lose tonight. They need McAllen Memorial to lose tonight. They need a lot of things to happen, and I'm not feeling great about all those moving parts, especially when Rose right now trailing to the #1 team in the district, the only team in the district to clinch a playoff berth, Weslaco East.
All right, how about Weslaco at San Benito? 14-0 right now, San Benito on top.
You know, this is such a zany district. These last two games have both been in 31-5A, and San Benito was one of the teams we thought was on the outside looking in because they were just 3-4 in district and looking pretty far out of things, and they were playing a very good Weslaco team. But if this result holds, Weslaco drops down to 5-3, and San Benito suddenly at 4-4.
Wow.
And the right combination of losses is going to mess this up. But just look at this at a macro level.
4 wins for everybody.
I know.
Almost.
Look at this at a macro level. Weslaco East is in. These next 6 teams are fighting for 3 bids. 6 teams fighting for 3 playoff bids in the last week. I can honestly say I've never seen anything like that in my life before.
And again, that's the overall record on the left and then the district record on the right. And that's the one that means the most. All those teams with 4 wins. It's going to be tight. All right, Laredo United at Laredo Alexander. Alexander up right now 14-10 at the half.
And both of these teams are already in the postseason. You don't have anything to gain there. But this is the battle for the Division I seeds. And normally that would be really important because you want to get an easier draw in the first round, right? Well, it's pretty much dead do, dead don't. Because if you win this game, you play Donna in the first round. If you lose, you play Sherryland. And both of those teams are about as good as they get in the Valley. You don't want to have to see either of those right now. So they got a lot of work to do.
How about Far San Juan Alamo Memorial at McAllen? Right now, scoring update for you on this one is 14-7 PSJA Memorial up at the half.
The coaches in 31-5A must have signed a pack at the beginning of the season to make this district nuts because this was a game that McAllen was probably favored by 9, 10, 11 points. I mean, Memorial's already out of it, for goodness sakes. But McAllen right now is behind. That heavy run offense of theirs is going to have to get back into this game because if they lose, they put themselves on the brink. If they win, they're probably going to make it.
We might have to check in with Vince Erickson later tonight down at KRGV to get that all sorted out.
Yeah, just get him a notepad and me a notepad, and let's just sort this out.
All right, how about some more, maybe some Windy score updates? In fact, you know what? The 5A Division II Region 4 bracket board. We'll do it in the bracket. We got 3 of them now.
Yeah, let's do the bracket board. Let's just go ahead and get that one out of the way because that'll help settle some of the madness in the Valley right now because not everything is as convoluted as 31-5A is right now, I promise you. But again, it's the 5A Division II, which is the smaller schools, Region 4 bracket board. Here's what it looks like. New Braunfels is still searching for an opponent, as is Cibolo Steel, but you've got Eagle Pass taking on Edinburgh North. Harlingen South is still waiting for an opponent, but that Eagle Pass Edinburgh North game, that is one of the few Valley matchups set right now. And what's key about this? There's really not a team in there that I think is the equal of Cibolo Steel right now. This may mean that Steel may be on a runaway freight train path into a matchup with Smithson Valley, and then maybe all into a state final.
Yeah, nobody wants to play Steel right now. That's for
I know
sure.
I don't.
All right, so coming up, we will talk about that North Texas area, but any other final thoughts about the Valley? Is it kind of, this
been a good year.
It's going to be one of those nights where, it may be midnight before we get that all sorted out.
Well, because you can't sort it all out unless you have every single result. Every result is pending and pivoting on another one. I will say this much about the Valley. Right now, it's lacking a team like we had in Harlingen last year.
Good point.
Where the whole Valley was behind them. They were by far and away the best team. They were going all the way to a state semifinal if things broke right. We don't have that team this year in the Valley, maybe Mission Sherlin, but what we do have is the best amount of balance and overall speed that I think we've seen in the Valley, at least since I've been at the magazine and maybe in a good long while. So even though it may feel like the Valley is not quite as good as they were last year, I actually beg to differ. I think it's just as good, just more balanced.
Maybe Sherlin could be one of those teams. All right,
They're
how about
really
Rouse and Vista Ridge? Got some highlights rolling in. This game just around the area. In fact, Rouse, a team that needs to win by at least 7 points to get into the postseason, and that will also affect Vandegrift. More on that in a moment. But look at the Rouse defense stepping up big here, making a big play on the defensive side of the ball. And they can get it done offensively, too. Check out this play right here. As the quarterback for Rouse getting the job done. That's, I believe, Justin Pelt finding Logan Kinder. So they keep the play alive. Then a huge defensive play for Rouse. And back and forth this game going. Rouse up 28-10 right now at the half.
A big game for Rouse. By the way, we talked earlier about a couple win and ins in Class 3A. We've got Armando Garza, who's on site at Hidalgo at La Feria. Remember, folks, that's a win and in 32-3A. Armando, give us a quick update. Let us know how that game is going.
Your first game.
Armando, can you hear us, buddy?
I'm right here. Sorry, they got a pretty accelerated sound system down here in the area.
I need to get that in my car. Tell us what the score is right now in the game and how it's progressed so far, Hidalgo and La Feria.
We got a couple minutes left in the third quarter, and La Feria jumped out to a 28-14 lead. A bit of a surprise here. The winner here gets a share of the 32-3A title, and La Feria hasn't had one in 13 years, so they've come out raring to go.
Now, Armando, real quick, I know 31-5A and 35A, they've drawn so much attention in the Valley because they've been so hard to predict. These 3A districts gotten a little bit overlooked. How good are those teams right there right now?
You know, there's 4 good teams in 32-3A, and one of these teams is going to sit out. You know, Hidalgo loses tonight, they're done. They'd be a 6-win team to not advance. So it's been a pressure-packed schedule. You know, it's kind of been a case of everybody beating everybody, and come out and really play
we'll see
football. They've driven it right at them.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this shakes out. Armando Garza, we do appreciate it. We might check back in with you a little bit later, and I know we've got some Westlaco East row highlights coming a little bit later on as well. So we'll talk to you more about that a little bit later on. Thank you again, Armando.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Fox Football Friday, let's go ahead and now go to the East Texas area. Piney Woods, got some more highlights just rolling in, fresh, hot off the stove.
It's White House and John Tyler, White House in the white, and John Tyler in the blue. And, folks, I don't want to spoil it, but I think this is a highlight you may need to sit down for. White House, its quarterback Pat Mahomes gets picked off. No, it's a touchdown, and it's a fumble. Tell me how that works out, but White House got out huge in this game. 24-0.
That's right.
That's crazy, right? Well, look what John Tyler's done. You're right. They've clawed all the way back into this to make it 24-17. JT finally playing like the second overall team, maybe first overall team in Class 4A.
Hey, let's take a look at Madison and Johnson now, San Antonio area, Alamo City football. Check out those uniforms. You know I'm a uniform guy. I like that look. Of course, Madison in the orange and white right there. But back and forth kind of game. And really, you know, let's shake down this playoff scenario down here in San Antonio with Madison.
Well, we know Madison's already in. The key is Johnson. If they, and this is going to be tough, folks, if they can beat Madison tonight and then they can somehow get a Churchill loss to Lee, which is very unlikely, if those two things happen, Johnson gets the 4th playoff spot in his district.
I've seen a lot of Johnson highlights here.
I've seen a lot of Johnson highlights. Madison answers back with it pops out of his hands at the end. Still don't have a score. Looking for that. Send it to us via Twitter at DCTF. But again, if Johnson can find a way to beat the district champs, Madison, and Churchill falls to Lee, Johnson knocks out Churchill and goes to the postseason. That's a lot of things to happen, and neither of them are terribly likely.
Okay. All right. How about Seguin and Bernie Champion, another game that is hot off the presses. Look at that down low angle right there for you. The Matadors rolling out onto the field. Seguin with a shot to get into the postseason.
That's right. Seguin in your whites, Champion in your blues, and it's Champion quarterback Kyle Pesky. A little easy out route there up the sideline, maybe a wheel route there, but he's got movement into the red zone. Champion still driving. Goal line sneak, quarterback Pesky in for the touchdown. Champion took an early lead. Seguin battled back a bit, and then Champion came right back itself. But there's Seguin again on the move. We said they've got a good quarterback. They've got a good defense. Their own short yardage run from the quarterback, and now it's Seguin out in front at halftime.
Wow.
30-27. If Seguin wins, they're in the playoffs. If Champion wins by 10 or more, they're probably in the playoffs.
Good to see Kyle Pesky, of course, broke that yardage passing mark earlier this year. Hey, Wendy's real score update. Cedar Hill losing to Midlothian 20-13 in the third. Plano over Allen, huge game, 21-17 in the third.
Let's put all these in perspective. If Midlothian wins, they avoid Hewitt Midway in the first round. If Plano wins, that gives Plano East a playoff berth if Plano East can win as well.
Maid Creek, look at that score, 42-41 over Katy Taylor. And LaPorte right now, look at this, Port Arthur Memorial coming back. It's 37-27, Bulldogs leading.
Corpus Christi Carroll right now over South San Antonio by the incredibly unusual 14-4.
Two safeties. Wow.
Palestine over Fairfield 26-21. Both of those teams have clinched anyway.
Huge game.
Cy Creek, Cy Fair, Jeff.
Yeah, Cy Creek, Cy Fair, 17-5A matchup. Creek up 14-7 right now on Fair at the break. And Henderson leading Gladewater 27-8 in the third quarter.
Remember that Cy Creek, Cy Fair is a win and in, loser go home for the 4th and final spot in 17-5A.
All right, we will keep you posted with that one. Hey, coming up next, we'll go down to the Coastal Bend when Fox Football Friday continues. Here, Westwood defeats Flugerville 10-7. More on that and much more coming up here from Flugerville.
Yeah, I got to get up early for him, so. At least Sunday.
Yeah, that was some good stuff with Hank. They didn't move around for a while.
Yeah. Tell you what, as much as they've had to juggle.
Wow, really?
Until they lose, you don't pick against them. It's almost like
Jeff Watts, I love working with you. I have always enjoyed it. I have always enjoyed it. You got 3 more weeks, and then you won't see me again for 8 months. You won't call, you won't write, you won't send chocolates. You act like I never existed. We need to have a conversation about that. I'm not trying to take anyone's job. I'm trying to take everyone's job.
I will. Better coming from someone else.
I can't hear you. I just see your mouth moving and you're laughing at me. Hey, thanks for coming by, bud. Take care. You, sir.
You know Angela over there?
Yeah.
Okay,
nice
cool.
to meet you.
Stuart works over at 104.9. All right, North Texas. Hey, did you see we did actually get some Valley highlights in? I just saw they came in. And welcome back to Fox Football Friday, powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine, where we go behind the scenes every now and then to show you what's cooking.
It's hard for us to get adjusted when there's a camera looking at us from a different angle.
Hey, let's go down to the Coastal Bend now and talk about some of the football in the greater Corpus Christi, or actually North Texas. Let's not get ahead of ourselves yet. Let's go to North Texas first.
You're messing it all up.
North Texas. Let's start there. We'll go to Coastal Bend next, I promise you.
Denton Ryan. Flower Mound, winning in. Team that wins is going to make the postseason. Team that loses is not in that ultra-competitive district up in Class 5A. It's been a tough year for Denton Ryan, folks. They've just never been able to get that offense going, really. Flower Mound, more or less, actually suffering through some of the same problems. But Ryan with a touchdown lead in the fourth quarter, looking to find their way into the postseason. I believe that would put them in the D2 bracket. Maybe a little bit easier field for them through Region 1, because Division 1 and 5A right now in Region 1, that's buzzsaw in capital letters. It's bad. It's hard.
How about Frisco at Prosper? Right now, Frisco up 21-7 over Prosper.
Okay, this is the game's final play. Check in with sportsgram.net.
Victory formation here.
Victory formation for Battaglia. He'll take it. And they'll probably need to run one more play.
Battaglia takes it 8.
So Prosper will end the regular season at 8-2. 5-2 in district play. They will finish in 3rd place in the district. A game behind Frisco and Centennial. They will finish, provided the Little Elm score remains the same. They'll finish as the top Division II seed as the Frisco team is celebrating.
All right, you heard the announcers there say something very important. If the Little Elm score, they're currently leading. If that holds, Little Elm will push Frisco, the team right here. That will push them down to Division I, where they will be the 2nd seed. And yikes, they see Highland Park in the first round. Little Elm would then take the 4th spot, be the bottom D2 seed behind Prosper. Here's an easier look at this. Like we said, Little Elm playing the Colony tonight. If Little Elm wins, they're going to take that 4th spot. Wakeland will not be able to catch them. It'll be Centennial, Frisco, Prosper, and Little Elm. Centennial and Frisco, your D1 seeds. Prosper and Little Elm, your Division II seeds.
Okay, so other matchups. How about Byron Nelson at Denton right now? Nelson, wow, 52-14 in the 4th quarter.
Well, if Nelson wins tonight and Azle takes care of business against Lake Dallas, which, okay, fine. When they win tonight, if Azle takes care of business against Lake Dallas, Azle and Nelson would both jump into the playoffs. But Azle right now losing to Lake, Dallas. And if Azle does that, you're going to have a three-way tie between Azle, Nelson, Dallas. Then you're probably looking at point differential, folks.
All right, how about Bowie at Callisburg? Bowie, of course, up in the North Texas area. The Rabbits down 27-zip right now in the third.
Well, Callisburg looks like they're going to go on to win, but this is the oddest game of the night because if Callisburg wins, they're the top seed in their district and they get a share of the district title. If they had lost, if Callisburg had lost tonight, they would have missed the playoffs entirely. They would have gone to 1st to 4th with a loss. That's how tight and competitive that district is, but all for naught. Callisburg's going to go on to win. They're going to get the top spot in their district.
Holiday at Jacksboro, all knotted up at 14 in the fourth quarter.
Jacksboro, I'm going to be hunting there on Sunday with my father-in-law. How about that? Holiday in Jacksboro. This one is for the second seed, and the Holiday defense, I think, is going to be the best unit on the field. The loser here is probably going to see Tolar in the first round next week.
Savoy and a Universal game being played on Saturday.
And here's the reason we're talking about it. Savoy is in the playoffs. It breaks the longest streak in the state. 1942, the last time they made the postseason. Savoy is in. If they win tomorrow, they will be undefeated 10-0 just a year after going 0-10 in their first season down in six-man. Way to go, Savoy. That's awesome.
How about some 4A Division I, Region 1 brackets?
Well, as you can see, Denton Guyer, they're in North Texas. That's why we're highlighting them here. Chapin takes on Hanks in the first round. Amarillo still seeking their first round opponent, the loser of Lubbock and Monterey going on tonight. Denton Guyer has Saginaw. Claiborne looking for their first round opponent from 7-4A.
All right, so now we'll go out to the Coast Bend next. When we take a quick break here, we'll take you down to the Corpus Christi area when Fox Football Friday continues from here in Pflugerville.
No, they were 0-10 last year in 1A.
In 1A.
They dropped down to six-man. Now they're going to be 10-0. They're going to go to the playoffs for the first time since 1942.
Wow. Okay, and they're in six-man. He said this is segment 14 in your hymnal.
Hey, do you want to bring Angela on the set and chitty chat like we did last week?
Yeah, she looks kind of bored there. She was getting ready to ask if she can go home, I think. Man, Angela.
Ouch.
You did hear it. Never mind. Never mind. You did hear it.
Boy, howdy. That was very uncomfortable.
What are we going to talk about?
The silence is deadly.
What are we going to talk about?
Just talk about the game, what you saw.
You know what? I have an idea. We are in the Coastal Bend. Her father's from the Coastal Bend. Let's get in there a little bit. We should say something about.
Let's just. We have to do it in overtime.
We talked about it twice, but we'll see. I think you can mention it.
Oh, dude, I don't have any data on that. They haven't sent me anything regarding that.
So you're gonna hang out with me this time? Is that the deal? Okay.
I don't know. Is it okay if I stand here?
Okay. Well, let's do this.
Do we have a chair?
Hey, Jeff.
Where should I sit? Where should I sit?
Jeff Watts.
Dirty. That's scary.
Or in the middle? Middle?
Step out for a second, and we're going to put this chair in.
Just put it in the middle.
Right here.
Just put it in the middle. Hey, Jeff Watts, let's come back with that Fox or that Ford Tough stuff, and we'll talk about that.
Yes.
Jeff Power, did you hear that?
What's that now? Ford Tough? Can you read it? You got the read?
Yeah, I'll do the read and I'll do the mention, too.
Okay.
You guys going to show the graphic, Watts?
Oh, is there
Other headset. Other headset.
Oh, it's way back there. And welcome back to Fox Football Friday, powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. That's right, Kemple Stadium, home of the Panthers. We talked about that 55 consecutive games won from 58 to 62. That was a national record. And they started off playing 8-man back in 58. They moved up to 11-man, and that's an impressive streak to say the best.
All right, folks, don't forget the Ford Player of the Week contest. Be sure to join us each and every Saturday morning at 8:30 a.m. right here on Fox Sports Southwest as we highlight the Built Ford Tough Player of the Week winners. You can also watch our show online at playeroftheweek.com, powered by your Texas Ford dealers. Folks, make sure you go check out that stuff on Facebook and on Fox Sports Southwest. You can find out last week's winners and, of course, the nominees after tonight's and tomorrow's games, too.
All right, Angela Heyman now joining us here on the desk. Came in kind of early here, so she looked like she was a little bit cold out there on the sideline, so we brought her over here with us. How are you doing, Angela?
That. I'm doing well, Jeff.
So what was it like down there? You have two teams. They know they don't really have a whole lot to play for, but no coach wants to lose a game. No kid wants to lose a game. What was the intensity level like out there?
It was very intense, and the crowd, they were, very loud, cheering on both teams. You could tell that Westwood really wanted it, though. I mean, they looked great. They looked a little bit better than Flugerville. They just looked a little bit more fired up, like they had a little bit more life in them.
And both these teams playing much better defense. And we kind of talked about that before the game, and it lived true today. 10-7 final score. I think there was about maybe 300 yards of total offense combined.
Oh, boy. Most of the teams get that in the first half these days. You got to talk to Bear Fenimore, the quarterback, a little bit, too. He looked good, big quarterback. I mean, he looks the part. When you talk to him, I mean, you talked a little bit. He's worked with Chris Wanke, and who was the other Heisman winner? Ty Detmer.
Yeah,
that's an incredible opportunity. How did he get that?
I was looking. He actually has his own website. It's bearqb.com. You can check it out.
I don't even have that.
I know. It's pretty cool, though. I mean, and they talk about that on there, that he has worked with both of those guys, and he told me he's learned a lot from him, and he's a big guy, and I was very impressed with his size.
How about that?
Hey, what do you say we head down to the Coastal Bend now, talk about that area? Your father's from Gregory Portland High School. Angela, let's talk about them right off the top. They're taking on Victoria West right now. GP up 35-28 in the fourth quarter.
To see Gregory Portland leading there, and my dad is from there. They made it to the state finals, lost in the state finals. My grandpa was a coach there. Stadium's named after him. So like I said, always happy to see Gregory Portland get the W.
Of course, her grandfather Ray Akins and her father Marty Akins also played at the University of Texas, and a good friend, by the way, with Darrell Royal, I might add as well. Sorry to hear about the passing again this week with Darrell Royal. Victoria East at Cal Allen, another game that we're watching out for tonight. Look at that score.
Well, Victoria East needs to win tonight. They want to give themselves a shot at the playoffs. And right now, it's obviously not playing to form. Cal Allen enjoying its best offensive output of the year against a quality team. That last score we just talked about, Gregory Portland, Victoria West, if that does hold, Gregory Portland would clinch a playoff berth because, as you can see by their district record, that 3-2, they're a game up over everyone else in district. So if Gregory Portland holds and wins, that would put Victoria West at 2-4. And if East does lose to Cal Allen, that would put them at 2-4, which would mean that it's all going to come down to Toloso Midway. Midway gets a win tonight against, I believe, Beeville Jones. That would put all three of those teams in at 2-4, and we'd have a three-way tie and a regular old mess on our hands.
How about Corpus Christi Flower Bluff, one of the top teams? They win this game 30-14. Why don't we take a look at some of the highlights? Flower Bluff, they have been one of the most impressive teams the last couple of years.
Well, they're very good defensively, very good offensively, and look, swarming at the goal line. No, that's going to be a safety for Flower Bluff in the white and maroon. Now Flower Bluff on offense. Tight end just sneaks out. Everyone's thinking run, except Big 47. He's thinking, look, I'm open. Touchdown for Flower Bluff. Nixon down big at this point. Nixon defense still trying to catch up. Flower Bluff still in the move, and quarterback takes off. They have a very, very good one. Colton is his first name, and he can play a lot of football. Over the top! Holy smokes! I said he was a quarterback, not a high jumper. But everyone put a star next to that. I have a sneaky suspicion we'll be talking about that one tonight. Holy cow.
The back's going to be hurting. Special thanks to KRIS TV down there for that one. All right, other games that we're looking out for. District 26 3A, key games, key teams.
All right, Gonzales at 2-2, Yoakum 2-2, Cuero 2-2, Giddings 1-3, Smithville 1-3. You add it all up, and what do you get? I'm not entirely sure. LaGrange is the team up top. They've already ended the playoffs from that district. But look at the rest of these five. I mean, it could legitimately be any two of these five teams right now. It is wide open. Giddings is taking on Yoakum. That's why we're showing you this graphic. Those are the two teams taking on each other tonight. And Giddings, who started off the season so well, now all the way down at 1-3, well on their way to 1-4. This would almost assuredly punch a ticket for Yoakum. And that's going to leave Giddings out in the cold. There's no other way to slice the bread.
All right, how about George West at Luling? Right now, George West up 14-12 in the third quarter.
George West is good. I mean, they're one of the best teams in the district. I believe they're already going to the playoffs anyway, so this will be a final tune-up for them. This may actually decide the district title if I'm remembering my facts and figures right. And if it does, George West is going to go on to win, and that has actually been one of the most consistent programs down in the Gulf Coast, or Coastal Bend, depending on how you like it. It's been one of the most consistent teams down there for quite some time.
Hey, the 5A Division II Region 4 bracket board, the top half, we've been kind of starting to set up the brackets for you so you can get out your pencil and maybe an eraser tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that's week 10 for you. Is you don't put anything in pen until you get to about Monday. Corpus Christi King is our Coastal Bend representative and why we're showing you the bracket. They have San Antonio Brandeis in the first round, but I'm actually a little intrigued intrigued by the one up at the top. It's Smithson Valley versus TBA. That's not an academy. That means we just don't have a team there yet. And whenever we do get that team, we'll know how tough of a draw Smithson Valley has in the first round. But I mean, it could be a low-level college team, and Smithson Valley may still be a favorite there. That's a really, really good Ranger squad.
All right, so more of that in just a moment. We'll break down Northeast Texas when Fox Football Friday continues from here, where Westwood defeated Flugerville 10-7. We'll be right back.
I'm going to go to Whataburger. You want my spot?
Huh.
Yeah, am I dismissed? Or do you want me to stay?
It's up to you. I mean, we're just going to be doing the same jazz we were. I mean,
does Scott have that Rio Grande Valley highlight that was just?
Was there anything else?
We got one from Weslaco East, and I'm going to send him some information about their FTP site that I just got. New password.
It really wasn't a very good game.
I mean, if there was nothing else that you really saw out there that you want to dive into, then I mean, it would just be awkward up here. I mean, unless you have a lot of great data on Caddo Mills.
Nope. I could talk about the kicker some more. We're trying to give that guy some
Okay,
love.
yeah, we might as well. Yeah, we might as well.
Let me talk about Adrian
depart.
Dillard.
Do it? You want to talk about him real quick? Okay. We'll do one more with Angela right off the top, talk about the running back, and then we'll start sprinting through these games at breakneck speed.
And I'll peace out.
Yeah, peace out. Sounds good.
Oh, you know what? Why don't you do the highlights of this game? You want to do that? No, I'm saying Angela can do it. Yep. Or we can all kind of do them, but I mean, you know, I think it gives you a good excuse.
Actually, this would be nice if y'all could do it because I need to take
Yeah.
a few notes on these games and kind of update.
Yeah, we got it. Why don't you do Westwood? I'll do Flugerville. How about that? And God bless him, Martin sends a lot of highlights. Like, I mean, you know, they just come in one touchdown at a time, so there's like 8. And welcome back to Fox Football Friday, powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. We're here at Kemple Stadium in Pflugerville, where it has gone final. Westwood wins it 10-7 over the Panthers of Pflugerville. Both these teams are headed to the postseason. But let's kind of show you how this game how it transpired. Angela's down on the field. We're going to kind of break down the highlights for you. It was a bit of a defensive struggle, but here comes Pflugerville onto the field. Both these teams 4-1 in district play. Of course, Veterans Day coming up here, and a good chance to see these players.
Yeah, and you know, Westwood really started off with a big drive. I thought there was going to be a lot of offense in this game. You'll see number 19, Ty Marshall, their big wide receiver, take it all the way down to the red zone. And then number, 11, Tanner Osborne's going to take it in to the corner of the end zone with that 3-yard touchdown rush. That would make it 7-0 Westwood. They'd score very early with only about 4 minutes had gone by in the first quarter.
Yeah, we talked about how Ty Marshall had 88 receptions coming in the game. Did not reach 100 as they were hoping for. But look at this play right here. Little pass interference in the corner of the end zone. Caleb Horton says, okay, we'll just take that ball down around the around the 1-yard line, and that would set up a touchdown. Look at this play right here, the sack by Westwood. It was that kind of night. A lot of defense on this game, and a nice job right there by the defensive end. I believe that was number 49, Jackson Crowley.
Yeah,
on the defense.
And number 42, DeAndre Roach, he had a big sack as well. He had a great game. I kept my eye on him. He looked great. And you'll see that Westwood did get a field goal. That was that 31-yard field goal by Colin McGuire. I talked about him earlier. Coach Wood and I talked about him. That kid has quite the leg. I was really impressed. I watched that opening kickoff, and it went through the uprights, not just barely. It was about 10 yards over the uprights. And they had the wind, but He's got a leg.
70
Colleges
yards.
are definitely looking out.
Most amount of
for him.
time on this show we've ever devoted to a kicker has to be.
I'm telling you, he's special.
We do show highlights of field goals every now and then, sometimes by default. But anyway.
See how windy it is?
That's God telling us to stop talking about a kicker.
Don't talk about field goals. Hey, let's go ahead and talk more about, now that my papers blew off, let's talk about another region.
Northeast Texas.
Northeast, thank you. And Northeast Texas, of course, that part of the state, Mount Pleasant and Wiley, this matchup already set up.
That's exactly right. And Mount Pleasant's going to be a favorite there. Maybe not a whole lot. This is their best season in some time. They're taking on a good Wiley squad. Texas High has Sherman. Sherman's going to be a heavy favorite right there. Sulphur Springs, they draw Wiley East or Lovejoy. It's actually the loser of that game, and right now, that looks like it's going to be Wiley East. Lovejoy was winning big last time I saw it. Hallsville and Wiley East or Lovejoy. Hallsville takes the winner of Wiley East Lovejoy, so they will most likely see Lovejoy. And as we said, Wiley East versus Lovejoy is tonight. So we're so close to 14-5A, or 14-4A, I'm sorry, and 13-4A having those by-district matchups all done.
All right, how about Atlanta and Pittsburgh? No, not the NFL, but look at this. Atlanta up 20-6 over Pittsburgh, third quarter action. I've noticed in that we get up to Northeast Texas, a lot of teams with big city names. You got Detroit, Pittsburgh, Atlanta.
And Palestine. How about a country? But
there you go,
region.
Palestine, Paris.
But this district is a total mess, 13-3A, so you're going to have to hang with me here. Atlanta, if they go on to win tonight, which it looks like they're going to, they would be in their district, in the playoffs from their district, if they can get this win and they can get a Pleasant Grove win over North Lamar. We still need a score update on that game. Another key game in 13-3A is Paris at Liberty Ilu. Now, Paris is already in the postseason, the only team from 13-3A to already be in the postseason. Now, weird that Paris Liberty Ilu score the last time I saw it, I think it was Liberty Ilu was winning. And if that is the case, Liberty Ilu was winning. Liberty Ilu suddenly has a, nope, I lied. It was Paris real big over Liberty Ilu 34-0. So now this changes everything once again. And let's take a look at the district standings from this district. If everything holds, you're going to have Liberty Ilu dropping down to 3-2 in district. Here, the top team with numbers by them. You're going to have Atlanta maybe jumping to 3-2 in district. Pittsburgh dropping down to 1-4. That just leaves North Lamar. If North Lamar wins and goes to 3-2 in district, you'd have Liberty Ilu, North Lamar, and Atlanta all tied. And you're going to have to go to a tiebreaker. If North Lamar goes on to lose, however, Liberty Ilu and Atlanta would both clinch, even though they would both lose tonight. I mean, they would both be at 3-2. It'd be a mess, but that could solve it. That one's exhausting. I know. That one's bad.
All right, so the Liberty Ilu Leopards, we'll see. Looks like they're going to be 3-2. Commerce over Caddo Mills right now, 20-0 in the third quarter.
This one's a lot easier, so you can come down off the walls now. Commerce is already in. Caddo Mills had to win to qualify. If they lose, they're probably not going to make it. As you can see by the score, they're probably not going to make it.
All right, Mount Vernon at New Boston. Right now, New Boston up 35-14 in the third.
Well, Vernon's playing them better than most everyone else has this year, but Vernon still more or less needs to win. If they don't, they're probably going to get passed up by Redwater, and they're probably not going to make the playoffs, even though they had an incredible start to the year. I think they were 7-0 at one point. They would come up short to New Boston, Dangerfield, and Redwater.
How about Cooper and Rivercrest?
All right, well, Rivercrest and Cooper, it's easy. It's a win and in. And right now it looks like Cooper, who's up by 12 in the fourth quarter. But I always considered this a coin flip game. I think these teams were very balanced. Rivercrest could come back, but right now it's looking like it'll be Cooper, and they'll be the third and final team in the playoffs from their district.
A lot of schools named Cooper in the state of Texas. You got Lubbock Cooper, Abilene Cooper, and Cooper.
That's right. It keeps adding up.
How about the Wendy's real score updates? Let's break down some more games for you across the state. A lot of big games tonight. Get out your notebook and pen.
Hey,
look at that.
Cy
Oh, we do have a
Fair.
final. Yeah, Cy Fair over Cy Creek, 15-14 final.
And here's why that's nuts. They closed the season on a 5-1 run in district play, including a walk-off touchdown 2 weeks ago and then a 1-point win here. Unbelievable.
I saw them lose that one game to Cy Ridge. They've bounced back ever since.
They're incredible.
McKinney-Boyd over McKinney, 35-21 in the fourth.
And this means if West goes on to beat Plano East, which they were earlier, McKinney-Boyd and Plano West would clinch your two final final playoff berths in 10-5A.
Plano leading Allen. Tight score, 28-25. Storied programs, fourth quarter. Great matchup.
But a result that would largely prove irrelevant based on the McKinney-Boyd outcome.
Denton, Ryan, Flower Mound, both tied, 17-all, fourth quarter.
And that's a win and end, so that one's going to be tense heading down the stretch. Hopefully we have some radio, and maybe we can pipe in an update on that sucker when we get close in the score at the end.
All right, we will try to take care of that sucker for you. All right, Fox Football Friday rolling on. We're going to talk about El Paso here in just a moment. Again, the final here, Westwood defeats Flugerville 10-7. And also Coach Carter stopping by, Hank Carter. We saw Anthony Wood earlier as well. And, good to see all these guys stopping by. George Herman as well, of course, from Flugerville as well.
There's a couple other big scores we were tracking around the state. We'll give you a couple brief updates. Midland Lee and San Angelo Central, who was essentially in a win and in game tonight. Yep. That game was tied at 21 with 6 minutes left to go. So that one's obviously getting very tense out in the Permian Basin.
Okay, all right. Fox Football Friday continues in just a moment. Stick around.
Boom, 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 boom. Oh, this is my favorite week of the year. I love this week. So much fun. Is that Joe Fan I hear?
Yes, okay, great, guys. I couldn't quite hear you. We got 2:23 left in this.
Hey, Joe, you're okay. Joe, we're in commercial break. You're good. You're good.
Okay.
We want to make sure we...
Football Friday Blitz is presented by your Texas Ford dealers. It's the year-end celebration at your Texas Ford dealer. Enjoy great savings on the freshest lineup. Ford is the best in Texas. By Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. And by Wendy's. Be bold with Wendy's Asiago Ranch Chicken Club and spicy, home style, or grill. Try one today.
And welcome back to Fox Football Friday. It's the Blitz, powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. Jeff Power, Travis Stewart. We're here at the Academy Sports Desk. And let's go out west, way out west now to El Paso. Different time zone, and football starts a little bit later there, around 8 o'clock. But let's kind of set up the playoff situation.
All right. Well, El Paso is actually more settled than really anywhere else in Texas. Here's the 1-4A and 2-4A first-round matchup picture. Chapin will take on Hanks. Chapin may be one of the best teams in El Paso, maybe the best, actually, even though they're in 4A. Andrus is taking on Del Valle. Burgess has Horizon in the first round in the D2 bracket. Bowie has Canutillo in the D2 bracket as well. I would like Chapin there. I'll take Del Valle. I'll take Burgess. And Bowie Canutillo is a coin flip. No, I'll say Canutillo.
Are you Jimmy the Greek?
Oh, hey, this is high school here. Let's all settle down.
Okay. All right, let's go out now and talk about Americas and Socorro. It's one of the games we're watching out for here tonight in Week 10. And Americas up 21-8 in the third quarter.
And really, if Americas wins, they're going to clinch the top Division II seed in their district. And the reason why that's important is it means they don't have to play Abilene in the first round. It means they would play Abilene Cooper Cooper. And that's no small potatoes, but it's better than unbeaten Abilene, who's one of the best teams, if not the best team in all of West Texas. So Americas, if they hold on to a win, an easier but not easy first-round draw.
Canutillo and Del Valle. Right now, Del Valle up 20-6 in the third quarter.
And we've got Joe Fan on site, who's been keeping track of the action. Joe, I've got to ask you, Del Valle, pretty good team. How good are they, and are they a playoff power?
Oh, yeah, definitely they're a playoff team in District 2, coming out of District 2, 4A. This will be their fourth straight. If they win tonight, they will win it outright. Fourth straight district title in 2-4A. And more importantly, for Coach Jesse Morales, this will be their 25th straight district win for his team. They are up 20-6, led by their quarterback, Stephen Montes. The sophomore has thrown for 3 touchdown passes of 26, 15, and 8 yards. But right now, like I said, 1:24 left in the third quarter, and Canutillo has the ball at midfield, but Del Valle is winning handily thanks to their defense and their offense, 20-6.
All right, we do appreciate that. Joe Fan, when you want the El Paso scores, we always check in with Joe Fan. Thank you again, Joe. Appreciate that. All right, Fabens at Clint, another game we're looking out for, and right now Clint up 13-7 in the fourth quarter.
Well, this district's still really screwy, but if Clint goes on to win this one, that would clinch a playoff berth for them and put Fabens in big-time trouble. It would almost essentially knock them out, pending the score result of the next game in El Paso, Pecos and Fort Stockton, and that would do it. Pecos with their win over Fort Stockton, that would put them in the playoffs. Mountain View would make the playoffs, Clint would make the playoffs, and Fabens would end up at home at 2-3, as would Fort Stockton. As you can see, there's your results. Fabens and Fort Stockton, they would come out on the wrong end of these games tonight. They would both be 2-3, and that would be the end of it, Jeff.
Okay. All right, so those are some of the games we're watching out for. We'll have some more updates for you in just a moment. Fox Football Friday continues from here in Pflugerville. All over the state. That's good.
That's a good thing.
Areas that we don't normally get them from, like KOGV and KXAS. They're sending them to us. They're probably wondering, what channel are you on? Trying to take some mental notes of who sent me scoreboard so I can know. Man, I tell you.
Man, there is no freaking scores in the Piney Woods. Those are tough to come up with.
Copper's Cove, they're big winners tonight, 34-6.
That clinches Temple, by the way.
Okay. We have a ton of Copper's Cove highlights. It's driving me crazy. And I'm sure it's driving Scott crazy, too. Let's see. And Rouse just beat Vista Ridge.
Yeah, they clinched, and that moved Cedar Park down to D2.
And for Vista Ridge, everything kind of stayed the same for them?
They're D2 regardless, yeah.
Yeah. So Rouse is D1? They're the top team in D1?
Yeah, they're a big school. They're like 2,000 kids.
And so Leander and Cedar Park are D2? Is that what you're saying?
No. Leander and Rouse are D1.
Oh, okay. So Leander is the top team. Rouse will be second.
Yeah, correct. Uh-huh.
Well, Leander, I guess they had to win tonight too, right? They played like Marble Falls or someone.
Yeah, they won. But I don't think it would even made a difference for them, to be honest with you.
And welcome back to Fox Football Friday, powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. We're here in Flugerville, where Westwood defeated the Panthers 10-7. Final score, good defensive showdown here. Both teams in the postseason. We do know for a fact that Westwood will take on Del Valle Thursday over at the Palace on Palmer, also known as Reeves Athletic Complex. And also up in Georgetown will be Lake Travis taking on Pflugerville. All right, Piney Woods now. Let's go to Conroe and Lufkin. Lufkin winning this one big, 42-7. It was kind of a must-win game for Conroe.
Well, yeah, and that's more or less going to put them outside the playoff picture. They're probably not going to find a way to scratch and claw their way back into this one. Big win for Lufkin. Let's check in now with Kicks105.com for the most recent update.
Touchdown. Good pass to Larry Day out of the backfield on the wheel route. And that will give it a 55-13 score as we speak. Pretty good pass by Bell. He caught Day right on the move.
So Lufkin wins this one, they're going to win. They're up 55-14 pretty late in the fourth quarter. They're up in the Piney Woods, and that was the game that Conroe really needed a victory on.
Elsewhere in the Piney Woods, we've got Jasper and Center. These two teams are locked up at 14 at halftime right now. Center looks like they will, Jasper and Center, both of these teams are probably going to be safe. But you know what? In this 3A class where everything is so tense, yes, both these teams have already clinched. In this 3A where everything is so tense and so many good teams, why not give yourself a springboard heading into the playoffs and everything? You want to get this win right here, even though neither of you are going to catch Carthage for the district title.
All right, Cleveland, the Indians over at Shepherd tonight. We'll hopefully get an update on this one in just a little bit. And how about Groveton at Deweyville? And this game also looking for a quick update in the Piney Woods there.
We're looking for scores through a lot of Piney Woods games, folks. So, by the way, if you're a Piney Woods fan and you watch our show, which I hope there's a bunch of you, please do be a dear and be a correspondent for us for the rest of the year. You can send in scores via Twitter at DCTF with the hashtag Football Friday.
How about District 12 2A, the D2 key teams?
And you can see why this Groveton-Deweyville game is very important. Deweyville, they're in more than likely. They're probably going to win the district title. But if they were to lose to Groveton tonight, that would all of a sudden give us an odds at some very uncomfortable, maybe even four-way ties in a district where more or less everybody is still throwing punches at each other. Tough field right now.
Shelbyville at Alto, and also this District 10 1A Division 1 key teams we'll take a look at here.
Yeah, let's take a look at the district. St. Augustine's already in. No surprise, they were a highly ranked team before the season started. Alto should be there at 3-1 in district, but if Shelbyville were to beat them tonight, both teams would be at 3-2 in district, and then you'd all be on pins and needles for a West Sabine win. If it happened, you'd have a nasty three-way tie. West Sabine could still lose, and Alto and Shelbyville could both still make it, but if Alto were to lose, I bet you we'd be heading for a three-way tie.
All right, so that is the Piney Woods as we see it. So coming up, not only more statewide scores, but also overtime at the bottom of the hour. Fastest 30 minutes of highlights from all over the state of Texas. They literally roll in, and we see them about the first time that you guys see them out there in TV land. So it's a good thing, though. We like to kind of, test ourselves.
We've talked about a bunch of those win and in games tonight where by the end of the result, whoever wins is in and the loser is out and going home. One of the first ones we talked about was Athens and Brownsboro. Athens was up big to begin with. And that's the way they finish it. It's 34 to actually, I'm not sure what the final was. I don't have it in front of me, but Athens did win. They do reach the playoffs, and Brownsville goes home.
And Rouse is in the playoffs as well with their big win tonight. They take care of business, and we'll have highlights of that one in just a little bit as they beat Vista Ridge. They needed to win by 7. They did more than that.
They did win by 7. That's right. Athens, by the way, the final there was 55-0 over Brownsboro.
Okay. All right, there you go. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with more. Fox Football Friday continues from Flugerville in just a moment. I'll stop.
It's like 10:15. You tired, bud? You ready to go home?
I could use some more coffee. Let me get my big sip ready up. Oh, goodness. I know I got a long drive ahead of me tonight. I'm kidding. It feels good to say that, too. You guys are usually all in a hotel and stuff. I'm like driving all night.
No, Angela and I are driving tonight, too.
I'll be sleeping. Thank you.
Look at you.
You want to do any more? And welcome back to Fox Football Friday, powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. Jeff Power and Travis Stewart with you. Angela Heyman along the sidelines here, where we do have a winner. Westwood defeats Flugerville 10-7, your final score. We've got highlights rolling in here at the bottom of the hour with overtime. And for now, let's kind of break down some more games across the state.
Well, there's been a bunch of big matchups. We just mentioned one in the last segment, Athens over Brownsboro. That score is actually 55-20. Doesn't change the outcome. Athens is still in the playoffs regardless. Brownsboro is going home. There it is. You see 55-20. Cuero beats LaGrange. That puts the Gobblers in the playoffs, and boy, did they look dead and buried a couple weeks ago, but they make it. Joaquin beats Harleton tonight 34-22, and Joaquin finishes the year 10-0. Very impressive because that was a tough district they were in, and Wolfforth Friendship knocks off Plainview 37-7. Friendship was always going to the playoffs anyway. No big upset there.
You know, just kind of looking at some of these scores and kind of taking on the night. Cuero in the postseason, Giddings likely out. Who would have thought that a few weeks ago?
Well, I mean, Giddings was the team with all the accolades coming in. They had all the talent, but Cuero was the team typically very good. It was on the outside looking in for much of the year.
Injuries maybe for Giddings there. Aledo over Trimble Tech, 58-6 your final. Cedar Hill, a nail-biter over Midlothian, 27-26.
And what that means is Cedar Hill takes the top seed in Division II, and they do not have to play Hewitt Midway in the first round. That inauspicious honor now falls to Midlothian, whose typically very good defense is going to be put to the test.
Okay, other games here. Denton Geyer, big winners over Wichita Falls, 49-0 over Wichita Falls High. Dickinson over Clear Lake, 34-27 final score down in the greater Houston area.
Denton Geyer with a big win there, a big tune-up heading into the first round. Junction defeats Harper tonight. Lovelady over Normandy. That was a win and in game for the final playoff spot in that district. Lovelady will take it. Round Rock defeats Stony Point. That means Round Rock is in for the fourth spot in that district. They are in to the postseason, and they will see Austin Bowie now in the first round. Stony Point sitting at home.
All right, and San Benito over Westlaco, 21-14 final score from down in the valley.
Well, you can put train wreck in big flashing neon letters because that's just what that's going to make 31-5A every bit more of a train wreck. Westlaco now drops to 5-3 in district. A win would have clinched a playoff spot for them there. San Benito gets back in the race at 4-4 in district, and everyone else in between is just, I mean, it's almost Plinko at this point. You're just going to throw the chips down, let them fall where they may, and you're going to have to pick up the wreckage at the end and see where everyone is.
Other games kind of rolling in. I know Forest Sand defeated Winters 24-0. Forest Sand and Quanah next week. Winter out to the playoff. Winters is out.
Tough draw. Another big game we were talking about earlier was Buda Hayes and Alamo Heights. The winner there, if it was Alamo Heights, would have clinched an undisputed district title. Buda Hayes could have won and gotten a share of it. It is Buda Hayes. They win 24-21. And now those two teams, all 5-1 in that district, and Taven Mayberry, their running back. All those teams in 27-4A. It's Tivy, Alamo Heights, Buda Hayes. I think they're all going to share a district title now.
Wow, that's impressive to say the least. How do they just break the ball in 4 pieces?
I was about to say, you just cut it in 3 pieces now, right?
Serve it.
One other big result here in Dallas was Arlington, they had North Crowley tonight.
Yep.
And if Arlington beat North Crowley, that would clinch a berth for both Arlington and Arlington Lamar. Well, that's what happened. Arlington beat North Crowley, so now both those teams are in. And I believe Arlington will now play Justin Northwest. I may have that backwards. And then Arlington Lamar will play someone else who's yet to be determined, essentially the winner of Timber Creek and Fossil Ridge up in Keller.
And how about Rouse? Looks like they're in the playoffs for the first time in school history. Kind of a new school in Leander ISD. They had to beat Vista Ridge by at least 7. They really took care of business. I know we've got highlights of that one coming up here at the bottom of the hour at overtime, but I believe their final was 35-10. Coppers Cove had a big win tonight up in the Super Syntex area.
That's right, and we're not going to have time to talk about this later, so might as well do it now. That Rouse win that puts them in the playoffs, that pushes Cedar Park down to Division II, which is very important because that is a title contending.
And we should explain that. You know, Division I and Division II are set up by enrollment. It doesn't matter what your record is as far as if the top 2 teams in your district as far as enrollment go to Division I. The lower 2 teams go to Division II. Sometimes that gets a little bit confusing. People they think that the D1 is maybe a better bracket, but no.
It's all done
just
enrollment. We'll talk about that a lot next week, too, to kind of fill in some of the blanks.
All right, let's take a quick break. Fox Football Friday continues from here in Flugerville. One more segment before we get to overtime. We'll be right back. Let's just re-rack the Flugerville 55.
Hey, Jeff, are you there? It's a good call.
Mm-hmm. They flip quarters in the middle in the Odessa Permian. So is Permian in? Did we figure out whether or not they're in yet?
I don't know. I'm looking for those results right now, actually.
Midland score, right?
Yeah. Well, I need a bunch of scores, but Midland was losing big to Abilene. I'm sure they lost. It's the San Angelo Central score that I need.
I still think back to that San Angelo Central game where they, the fake field goal, they win it. I mean, they were down 35-14 to Midland, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that's the difference.
Yeah.
Abilene beat Midland pretty bad.
All right, so that's...
San Angelo Central beat Midland Lee, 28-21. So what that means... That's fine. We can... I don't know what I'll ever talk about. Central 28, Lee 21. So Central is in and Permian is in.
Football Friday Blitz is presented by your Texas Ford dealers. It's the year-end celebration at your Texas Ford dealer. Enjoy great savings on the freshest lineup. Ford is the best in Texas. By Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. By Wendy's. Be bold with Wendy's Asiago Ranch Chicken Club and spicy home style or grill. Try one today. And by FredLoya.com.
And welcome back to Fox Football Friday, powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. It's the Blitz. Jeff Power, Travis Stewart joining you. Angela Heyman on the sidelines here. Don't forget overtime coming up at the bottom of the hour. Tons of highlights. Get ready. But anything that kind of stood out for you tonight that maybe teams that haven't been to the postseason in a long time? Just, give me your overall thoughts.
Well, I know Edinburgh Economides ended up beating Palmview. We talked about them earlier, and that puts Economides in the playoffs for the first time in a long time, almost a decade now. We also talked a lot about 258 tonight, the Permian Basin and Abilene District. That one's all settled. San Angelo Central went on to beat Midland Lee tonight, and Midland lost to Abilene. What that means, without getting into too much math drama, is that San Angelo Central's in, and Odessa Permian is in. And I believe San Angelo Central is the top Division I seed. Permian is the second Division I seed. And remember, Abilene and Abilene Cooper were already in.
So Mojo back in. All right, let's take a look at your Wendy's real score updates here as we break down the state for you. Little Elm, talked about that game. They win 44-29 over the Colony.
And that puts Little Elm in the postseason. Running back Keon Kenner gets still can continue his run at the single-season carries record, which he's been assaulting all year.
And Timber Creek over Fossil Ridge, another huge game, 26-14, TC wins.
And now Timber Creek is in the playoffs, and they will either play Arlington or Arlington-Lamar. I'll have to double-check how that plays out.
Look at Magnolia West, 41-17 winners over Waller, and Chilton over Bremond, 35-14.
Magnolia West now clinches the 4 spot out of 18-4A. Waller is headed home. Great job by the truck getting all these big scores, guys. These are some of the biggest ones out there in Texas tonight.
All right, so those are the Windy score updates. Here's a few more for you. Gilmer over Kilgore, another big game, 20-14 your final.
Gilmer takes an undisputed district title in 16-3A.
Look at Belleville, rallied to beat Sealy after trailing 10-0. They win it 27-17 on the Battle of Highway 36. Buffalo over Riesel, 66-42, and Abilene over Midland, 28-21.
That Sealy score, guys, that knocks out Sealy. Wharton takes the final spot in that district. Sealy is done for the year. Ricky Seals-Jones, his wonderful high school career has come to a close.
All right, so he had that injury against St. Pius, and it came back late in the season, the last 3 games, in fact. But I think Sealy went 1-2 in those games with him back in the lineup. That was the tough part. They had to play El Campo. They also had the big game against Belleville tonight, and it was just kind of a tough season for Sealy dealing with injuries all year.
That's right. One team that we talked about earlier was Copperas Cove beating Harker Heights.
Yeah.
Not only is
Highlights
Copperas Cove and Harker Heights both in the playoffs, that result clinches Temple as well. So Temple takes the 4th spot out of 8-5A. And now is a timely moment to talk about what tonight really is. Now that the scores have come in, what's going to happen behind the scenes all throughout Texas, really, throughout the rest of the night.
I mean, think about it. Coaches, athletic directors, they get together. In the old days, they used to go to these cafes and stuff and kind of map out who's the home team. Are you going to play at a neutral site? Are you going to do home and home? I mean, you're going to flip. I mean, it's kind of a fun night all across the state of Texas, and you really have to try to figure out not only who you're going to play, but the logistics of travel and all that stuff.
And a lot of the big schools, they can decide that stuff, a week, even 2 weeks in advance. But some of the small schools, you still get that magic on Friday night where they come up and say, hey, Coach, did you win? Yep, we won. Okay, good. Well, let's go ahead and start talking. I want to play at this neutral site. Well, I don't want to play there. Well, then how about this one? I don't want to play there either. I want to play at home. Well, if you want to flip a coin, we can flip a coin. They flip a coin, you end up playing somewhere random. That's why this night is so much fun, because every coach out there has been through it 100 times. You know what it means to the kids. You know what's on the line. This really is a special night. It's actually kind of rare in high school sports anywhere.
And Hank Carter joined us earlier from Lake Travis. The funny thing he said was about this time of year, he used to coach at Stephenville.
Yeah.
He worries about some of the parents wanting to take their kids deer hunting. Hey, only in Texas, right? I mean, playoffs, deer hunting, what are you going to do?
And we talked a little bit about neutral sites and home and home. If you get confused by that, schools can agree on a site anywhere they want. But when they can't agree is when they start flipping coins and you end up playing at someone's home stadium.
Yeah, maybe a neutral site, too. All right, Fox Football Friday returns in a moment. Don't forget, it's the overtime, the fastest 30 minutes of highlights coming at you here in just a minute. We'll be right back. Stick around, folks. We'll see you in a few. Oh. All right, I'm gonna keep my playoff scenario handy, but this goes so fast it's gonna be hard to do it.
Yeah, I honestly, just do what you do to those highlights, and if there's a highlight that makes more sense for me, I'll call it, but I'll try and condense down to the bare minimum what it means.
Right.
Jeff Watts, can you hear me? Flower Bluff and Laredo Nixon. The quarterback jumps and hurdles like 19 people and flies into the end zone. That's going to be our play of the night.
That was awesome. I assumed that was coming from KRIS. I bet that came from a Laredo station if it was in Laredo. It looked like it was in Laredo, didn't it? I mean, Flower Bluff, they were in the white uniforms, with the red or the maroon helmets.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure.
I'm pretty sure it was in Laredo.
Wow. Marshall beat Jay. Are you kidding me? I did not see that coming.
welcome to Fox Football Friday. It's powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. This is what we call Overtime. Jeff Power, Travis Stewart, lots of highlights to get to all over the state of Texas, and no better place to start than maybe the DFW Metroplex. Let's talk about that game between Plano West and Plano East. This was a huge matchup. In fact, Travis Corey, the quarterback for Plano West, he had himself quite a ball game. Of course, the Plano West Wolves here in those dark uniforms. Nice little effort as getting that ball into that pylon. Hey, all you got to do is just get it inside the pylon. Look at this. Here he comes again around the side. Fakes out the cameraman, and he's off to the races. And it was that kind of game. And it is Plano West that wins it 37-35, your final score, so a 2-point victory.
I actually have this one at 47-28, which is a little odd, but it doesn't really matter. Plano West wins either way. They win, and McKinney-Boyd wins, which means Plano West and McKinney-Boyd clinch playoff berths, both into the playoffs in 10-5A.
All right, Greater Houston area now. This is a game between, I believe this is Creek and Springs. Clear Creek, Clear Springs, there we go. And back and forth kind of game. This playoff implications in this game as well. I believe a district title, perhaps.
Exactly. Clear Springs is up for the district title. Cedar Creek was really more for seeding in the Division II bracket, but Clear Springs' Zach Cripps was pretty good tonight at the quarterback spot. He rifles downfield and picks a man up right at the back of the end zone. And then look at this, Twinkle Toes finds a man on the sideline who cuts it upfield, and he's got a score as well. Clear Springs was the better team for much of the evening, all of the evening. 40-13, Clear Springs, your undisputed 24-5A district champion.
Yeah, Zach Cripps with 3 touchdowns in that game for Clear Springs. All right, now the Hill Country area. Big game, of course. We talked about the fact that Rouse needed to win by at least 7 points over Vista Ridge. And I tell you what, they got it done on both sides of the ball, playing good defense, also playing great offense. Look at this pass play, deep downfield, caught down around the 32-yard line. Kind of one of those games back and forth, but finding a way to get into the end zone here. Now, Rouse has never been to the postseason before. Well, guess what? They're in the playoffs now. They win. They defeat Vista Ridge. Big defensive effort for them. Look at that big play right there. And Rouse goes on to win it 35-10 over the Rangers.
All right. That means that Rouse will see McCallum in the first round. Leander gets LBJ. Cedar Park now down in Division II will get Crockett. And Travis now goes out to Vista Ridge.
How about Hebron and Marcus? Check out this play right here. If you haven't seen this, this is some good footwork. Whoa, nice move. Broken ankles all over the place. Yeah, Hebron and Marcus, DFW area football, and possible playoff implications here in this one as well. Now, Marcus can get it done. Look at the little trickery right here. Back part of the end zone. Touchdown. Nice job right there.
Well, we know Hebron was going Division II. Marcus was in. We just didn't know where. This result really pivots on what happened at Denton Ryan and Flower Mound. Now, if Denton Ryan gets it in, I believe Marcus is going to go up to D1. If it is Flower Mound that gets in, then the winner of this one would have been the top D2 seed. But we don't know until we have the Denton Ryan score in.
All right, let's now go out to the Big Country. Huge game out in the Big Country region. Let's begin with this is Abilene and taking on Denton, looks like.
No, or Abilene and Midland, yes.
Midland,
correct.
yeah. And here we go. In early highlights here, Abilene, in case you haven't seen them yet this year, undefeated for a reason. Awesome football team. One of the top teams in the state. And I tell you, they're tested right there in the Abilene area with Cooper being so good this year and some of the other teams in that district.
Now, everyone in 2-5A was riveted by this result because if Abilene beat Midland as expected, then that would have essentially knocked Midland out and clinched everyone else. Permian and then the winner of the Lee San Angelo Central game. Evan Abbey, the quarterback for Abilene, doing work on that extremely long drive. Their offense playing very well. Abbey again in the shotgun, sends a man in motion. He will roll that way, and those crossing routes gives him a man on that out route for the touchdown. Abilene goes on to win 28-21. So that means Abilene knocks out Midland, and Permian clinches, and San Angelo Central, who beat Midland Lee, San Angelo Central clinches as well.
All right, so good win right there for Abilene, and tough loss for Midland, so Odessa Permian is in. All right, let's now check out Bernie Champion and Seguin, Greater San Antonio area. The Matadors storming onto the field here, trying to get into the postseason, wearing the all-white uniforms on the road. And Seguin on the defensive side of the ball. And Pesky, have you had a chance to see him yet? Yeah, he owns a new record this year. And,
he's in the top 5.
Top 5,
yards,
correct.
yeah.
Good point. But Bernie Champion, they can move the ball through the air and on the ground as well. And Pesky with the touchdown right across the middle there, right up the gut for the TD. Looks like he's a little shaken up there. But Seguin's quarterback getting the job done as well in the end zone for the touchdown right here. As we take a look at your score as 49-33, Bernie Champion over Seguin.
And I'll be darned if Champion doesn't win by more than 10, which they needed, and Lockhart lost. Champion, which was playing from way behind tonight, they make the playoffs.
Wow. So big victory for Bernie Champion.
Look at that.
And their quarterback. All right, let's now go to East Texas. John Tyler and White House. These two teams came into the game 4-0 in district play. But, wow, White House got out to such a great start in this game. But I got to tell you, it went back and forth down the stretch. Anytime a team – you just got to figure out that someone's maybe more fired up than the other, or at least catching you off guard, because White House was making some big plays. Look at that.
I've never seen that before.
Talk about a play
and then they fumbled
the game. Oh, my goodness. And look at John Tyler, up 45-38 in the fourth. This is a game that White House led early on. I believe it was 21-7.
24-0.
24-0.
And then John Tyler comes screaming all the way back to get into this game and take a great beat at the district title. No playoff implications. This is purely for a district title, purely for pride. And White House looking for its first undefeated season in school history.
But how cool to see these two teams just throwing it out there. They're both 4-0 in district play. They know they're in the postseason, but they're still going to battle.
They're trading blows, all right. It's been a great night so far. That game is just a big part of it.
Keep that play queued up. All right, Fox Football Friday will be right back with more highlights in just a moment.
Football Friday Overtime is presented by your Texas Ford dealers. It's the year-end celebration at your Texas Ford dealer. Enjoy great savings on the freshest lineup. Ford is the best in Texas. By Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. By Wendy's. Be bold with Wendy's Asiago Ranch Chicken Club in spicy, home style, or grilled. Try one today. And by FredLoya.com.
I mean, I saw Lorena was beating China Spring pretty bad. I'm sure they won. And Lorena's coach, Ray Biles, is very nice. I'd be fine with that. Cy Fair, Ed Pustovjovsky is very nice. They won. I don't know. Okay, I don't know about Venus Alvarado, so scratch that one out. I haven't seen a score report there. And then I don't know about Orangefield Bridge City. So I would say either Ray Biles or Coach P. Oh, good luck. He never answers his phone. That'll be a crapshoot.
I have an uncle named Pusjowski. Don't pronounce that T. That's what I'm saying.
Who is it?
We're going to...
Okay, great. Let's do that.
Who is it again?
Cy Fair.
Oh, that's good. They won 5 straight to end the district, right?
Yep. McAllen Rowe beat Weslaco East in double overtime to clinch a playoff berth.
Hey, we have highlights of that game. Yeah, Cy Fair, Cy Creek, right? Oh no, maybe not.
No, I don't think we had that tonight.
I know that was up for debate, but
yeah, I don't think we have that. You talked about Knobler getting that, but I don't.
Yeah. All right, welcome to Fox Football Friday, powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. We are here in the overtime segment, and let's take a look at the keys to the game. This one right here, as it did shake out with Westwood winning 10-7 over Flugerville.
Yeah, it's been final for a while, but the defenses still showed up regardless, 10-7. So both of those top two keys played out according to form. Explosive Adrian, that's the running back, Adrian Dilworth for Flugerville, got banged up, didn't finish the night. Roll the dice, nah, neither team went for anything big. Everyone played it safe. Westwood came home with a well-deserved, but still fairly vanilla win for both teams. 10-7, Westwood a winner.
All right, so there's the Wendy's real keys to the game. Now let's get it back to some more highlights and possibly let's talk. Cy-Fair, Cy Creek had a huge game tonight. One of those games where Cy-Fair's been on a roll lately. Cy Creek's kind of been one of those surprise teams this year. They got a good defense, have been playing well all season long. Well, the head coach for Cy-Fair joins us now, Ed Puszczowski. And first of all, Coach, tell me about your win. It was a nail biter. You had to win it, and you guys found a way to get it done.
Yeah, we did. The kids did a tremendous job. We struggled a little bit offensively in the first half. Our defense played extremely well, but we got a turnover there and we got one in, and then we had the final drive, and our kids executed well, and we were able to get the touchdown.
Now, Coach, last week y'all had a walk-off touchdown, a touchdown to win it with zeros on the clock, and now this. Have you ever been part of a finish like this of a season where you win, you go 5-1 over your last 6, and you have your 2 last games were this close? Have you ever seen that?
Well, I haven't been involved in that, but I'm certainly happy to be this year, and like I said, our kids responded there late and had a good drive, and then they converted to 2 points, so, it was a very gratifying thing for us.
All right, Coach Ed Puszczowski, congratulations on the victory. Go celebrate with your team, and welcome to the postseason.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. All right, that's Ed Puszczowski, the head coach at Cy-Fair. Of course, they beat Cy Creek by a point tonight. That's our Fred Loya Insurance live quote of the night. I believe that final was 15-14, so 17-5A. Good win for Cy-Fair.
As zany as always. A lot of other highlights going on around Texas tonight, though, and a lot of really big key games. One that I'm hoping we'll get to see, McAllen Rowe, they came back and beat Weslaco East, the top team in district, in double overtime to clinch a playoff spot.
Hey, let's go with Connolly and Manor now here in the Hill Country. This game not too far from here. We talked about Flugerville, Connolly, and all the Flugerville teams making the postseason this year. Well, Connolly, one of the top teams. This game, you can throw a rock at it. It's only about a couple miles from where we are right here. And Connolly, the Cougars getting the job done, moving the ball on the ground right here. Connolly, you talked about this earlier, Travis. Connolly bouncing back after that loss last week to Georgetown. Georgetown winning the district title, and they got embarrassed. And it was good to see Connolly get back. When you go into the postseason, look at that ball just barely crossing into the wind. That was nice. But Connolly doing a nice job, though, of getting the job done. They win at 20-17. Manor also in the postseason, but Connolly needed that one.
Yeah, it puts them back into the right frame of mind. Let's head out to the Permian Basin where we've got San Angelo Central and Midland League. And we talked about earlier with Midland's loss to Abilene, this game became a win and in into the playoff picture. You see Lee there in your Maroons without running back Jason McAfee, who sat out with concussion-like symptoms tonight. San Angelo Central in the white and orange, but it was Lee's ground game that got them moving in the right direction early on. That power run game of the Rebels over the goal line, quarterback sneak for an early touchdown. But those boys in orange and white, they would not go away. Still fighting defensively as Lee comes back later in the game. This time quarterback throwing, picked off by San Angelo Central. Going the other way. He's got nothing but green, caught from behind. That would be a huge turning point for Central. They go on to win 28-21. They clinch a playoff berth along with Odessa Permian and District 2 5A.
So congratulations to Brent Davis and the Central Bobcats. All right, how about the San Antonio area? We talked about Johnson earlier, a team that really could use a win, and they had themselves quite a battle tonight with San Antonio Madison.
That's right. Johnson had to beat Madison, and they had to get a Churchill loss to San Antonio Lee if they wanted to make the postseason, and they gave Madison all they could handle tonight. Guy down the middle of the field in the seam takes a massive hit, holds on to the ball. That would set them up nice and pretty. Johnson on the move again. Heavy running down to the goal line. Madison getting a little bit bludgeoned there. This time the play fake. Johnson looks to the end zone. Dropped. Oh, so close off the fingertips. Johnson still looking for points. Still in the red zone. That was almost intercepted by Madison, and Madison goes on to win big tonight, 35-2. Johnson eliminated. Churchill clinches their final playoff berth.
All right, so a big win there for Jim Streety and the Madison Mavericks. How about the Super Syntex now? as Copperas Cove taking on Harker Heights. Interesting scenario here. Harker Heights with the touchdown run right up the gut, back at you with Copperas Cove. It was a Copperas Cove game where they really started to put the hammer down in the third. They go on to win it 34-6 over Harker Heights, kind of blown out a game that was relatively close, at least the first quarter. So a big win for the Bulldogs.
And that puts Temple in the final playoff spot. Let's head down to the Coastal Bend, where we go out to the lovely city of Corpus Christi, where we got Victoria West, I believe, is
taking on Gregory Portland.
Gregory Portland.
Yeah, Gregory Portland, of course, coming into this game, one of the top teams in this district. There's GP fired up, ready to go. And this was one of those games where, GP looked impressive all night long. They can run the football with the best of teams, and they got it done right here. Look at that ball right up the middle. Nice effort into the end zone. Windy conditions all over the state of Texas. We've seen it here, and, of course, down to the Coastal Bend. They call Corpus Christi the Windy City for a reason.
Now, Gregory Portland, if they went on to win this one with this great ground game led by Coach Matt Anastasio and their running back Devin Bisbee. Oh, fumble there. Oh, no, it's a pitch. And Gregory Portland still on the move. If GP goes on to win this one, and they do, 56-41, GP clinches a playoff berth in Victoria West, caught in a tie possibly with East and Toloso Midway.
Okay, all right, Fox Football Friday will continue with the overtime segment in just a moment. Stick around.
All right, Jeff, play of the night. You want to do that Flower Bluff thing?
Let's see if we can figure out maybe who he is.
Oh, the quarterback?
Was it actually the Flower Bluff player that
yeah.
went? Yeah, he was a quarterback keeper on the side.
Yeah, I can get it. That one's pretty easy for me. Rose got that one. Flower Bluff. I think it's Colton Mims is his name, but I'm not. Lorena won. Colton Mims is the quarterback for. The Flower Bluff quarterback jumping into the end zone over 3 guys.
Colton Mims.
Colton Mims. Had it earlier. Yeah, that's where the play of the night's coming from.
That's the play of the night. Flower Bluff was whipping. Here, let me see if I can get a score real quick.
Oh, I have it. I can get it, Jeff. I have it actually on my screen right here.
I have Weslaco East and Rowe shot sheet by any chance if we have those highlights. I don't know if we do.
Flower Bluff beat Nixon 37-10.
And welcome to Fox Football Overtime, powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. Jeff Power, Travis Stewart. We had a great play tonight.
We do every week, but it's the Academy play of the night.
Fantastic play tonight.
And it's going to go out to Colton Mims, the quarterback at Corpus Christi Flower Bluff, in action against Laredo Nixon, who he put on his Superman cape for this one. On the right edge, he's going to cut this up to the right sideline, and it looks like he's got some space, but Nixon closes the door until he decides to go over the door, over the top. Big touchdown run for Colton Mims. Flower Bluff goes on to win big, 37-10, and Colton Mims gets a medal for heroism.
It's all where those feet land. He got the foot down. I like it. Flipping around. All right, how about China Springs and Lorena? Now, Coach Ray Biles on the phone now. Coach, first of all, congratulations on the win. Tell us about it.
Well, thanks, guys. It was a tremendous night for the Leopards. Kids played so well, and they've come so far in the last couple of months to get to this stage where they could do what they did tonight. So we're excited about it, and hopefully we can keep moving forward.
Now, Coach, you guys come out of 17-3A. I think you actually win the district. Talk about just the mental toughness it takes to get through a field where you had legitimately 5 quality teams in there to try and fight through.
Well, I mean, you go into every ball game knowing that if you don't play your A game, you're about ready to get your behind handed to you. It's that simple because all these guys can play. They all have players. They're all well coached. And it's a very physical league. So, it's one of those things where, your kids have to be prepared every Friday night, and you can't afford to make too many mistakes at all, and just hang around long enough to make some things happen. And fortunately, we were able to do that.
All right, Coach, do you know who you're playing in the first round now?
Don't have a final score. It would be the winner. And you guys might be able to help me with that. It would be the winner of Rockdale and Caldwell.
Still looking for that, too. I don't know if that's a heavily reported on game tonight.
Well, we would play the winner of that game next Friday night at Leo Buckley Stadium in Killeen.
I tell you what, I'll find it and I'll text it to you sometime tonight, okay?
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it so much.
All right, thank you. Ray Biles, head coach of Lorena. So big winners tonight over China Springs and 17-3A. Congratulations to them.
No kidding. I think La Vega won, too, so that means La Vega would be in the playoffs in that third spot. I'm going to have to sit down with a calculator and some notepads and a bottle of water or two and sort my way
through the cafe.
That. Yeah, that may be where I'm headed.
All right, how about West Orange Stark and Silsbee? This was a game we kind of talked about this matchup being key. West Orange Stark came into this game undefeated, but a district title on the line against Silsbee. And Silsbee here, I believe, in the all-maroon, West Orange Stark in that silver and blue. And I tell you what, they've had a fantastic season because they can run the football. They play good defense as well. Nice effort right there, coming up just short there. But then they're going to find a way to get the touchdown here momentarily as we start up the second quarter there. But West Orange Stark, this is a team you better watch out for in the postseason. One of the top teams in the Golden Triangle. They've been rolling this year. They win it over Silsbee 26-12.
And those 12 points, West Orange Stark had only given up 20 the whole year leading into this game. So that's a pretty good showing by Silsbee. Silsbee was going to D1, West Orange Stark D2, so it didn't matter the outcome for playoff-wise. It was just for a district title.
All right, Hill Country. Now, this was a huge game. Round Rock and Stony Point, game being played over at Dragon Stadium. Here comes Round Rock. They're on the move right here, trying to get into the end zone. And, Coach Craig Cheshire, the head coach at Stony Point, needing to find a way to get his team into the postseason. They would need a victory, and they needed to have some extra points on top of that. Look at the nice effort right there into the end zone. You see that kind of effort in Week 10, but it is Round Rock that wins it 30-29 by 1 point. All right, how about staying in the Hill Country? Leander and Marble Falls. Leander in the postseason. Clint Harper doing a nice job there, the head coach for Leander. Look at the defense right here. The Lions can play some D. That whole defense, that whole district can play defense for that matter. Of course, Cedar Park over there, Leander over there. But the Lions can run it as well. They get the touchdown run right there. So the Lions take care of business with their win over Marble Falls. And they are set for the postseason as well, 56-14. Leander a big winner.
Leander on a high note, hitting into the postseason, looking extra sharp, heading in Division I in Class 4A, where there's a lot of sharks swimming in the water.
All right, how about North Texas? This is Ryder and Wichita Falls game being played up in North Texas. And I tell you, the Rojo is back. I love seeing, we talk about the mojo getting in, and then now there's the Rojo. And this is a game, of course, being played over at Wichita Falls, I believe, over at Wichita Falls High, Old High, as they like to call it. And there's the play right up there in the middle, the nice little run. And Ryder with the ball right here and the gold helmets. Touchdown.
This is Ryder still seeking to rebuild their offense a little bit after J.T. Barrett went down with a season-ending knee injury. They're still a playoff power team, but they are going to have to work some kinks out, as you saw there on the interception. They win big tonight, 34-0, but they've still got a little bit of work to do as they head into the playoffs next week.
All right, so 34-0, Ryder over Wichita Falls High. All right, Fox Football Friday. We'll wrap it up here in just a moment. Overtime continues. Jeff, Travis, stick around. We'll be right back. Travis, I'm Jeff. All right, let's finish strong. What do we have?
We're going to do McKinney Boyd, running back Brian Driscoll. Yeah, you don't even have to show the graphic. I mean, if you don't want, we can just talk about it.
Do we know where we're going to be next week? Can we say anything at all? No.
Nope. Total secret.
Okay. That's fine. We'll handle it that way.
And I did text that coach the score of that team he was looking for. DCTF, where we deliver.
Should mention that on the air. I'm sure some people out there maybe want to know.
Yep.
Man, how about Cy-Fair? They came on strong at the end, didn't they?
That's really that's a heck of a thing. I tell you what, going 5-1 in any stretch in that district is amazing. But winning your last two, both of them by one possession in the fourth quarter.
Football Friday Overtime is presented by your Texas Ford dealers. It's the year-end celebration at your Texas Ford dealer. Enjoy great savings on the freshest lineup. Ford is the best in Texas. By Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. By Wendy's. Be bold with Wendy's Asiago Ranch Chicken Club in spicy, home style, or grill. Try one today. And by FredLoya.com.
And welcome back to Fox Football Friday, powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. It is the overtime segment. Jeff Power, Travis Stewart. Let's put a bow on it. Let's get the Ford Player of the Day.
Well, the guy of the night, I don't have a vote, to pick for the Fox Sports Southwest Built Ford Tough Player of the Week. If I did, I'd be looking at McKinney Boyd running back Brian Driscoll, who was amazing tonight, and a must-have win over McKinney. That puts them in the playoffs. His line tonight, folks, 34 carries, 324 yards, 7 touchdowns. A great night. And he passes 5,000 career rushing yards at Boyd.
Wow, that's very deserving. That is Built Ford Tough, I might add.
He's an amazing kid and player for sure.
Hey, we're going to be bringing you the show throughout the playoffs, at least the next 3 weeks. It's going to be a mystery on where we're going to be next week, but I promise you we'll have some football for you next Friday.
A couple other scores we just talked about that maybe we can shed some light on. You heard Coach Biles talking about, I don't know who we're playing. I don't know who Rockdale and Caldwell, what the result was. Rockdale won, so that means that Lorena will be playing Rockdale in the first round. And then another one we talked about, 23-5A, the Fort Bend ISD district, shaking out.
Yeah.
Hightower loses in 3 overtimes to Bush. Dulles ends up taking that 4th and final playoff spot to join Bush, Travis, and Austin.
So Dulles is in. We saw that team earlier this year. They've got a good offense.
Yes, they do. They have some talent.
It's a mystery next week, but don't worry. Great playoff matchups all over the state. We'll have highlights for you. We'll have coach interviews. We'll even have some previews of some Saturday games. There'll be some Saturday matchups as well.
That's right. Big shout out to our crew tonight who did a great job with a thick script and a lot of playoff scenarios.
Yeah. And the brackets and the way you have to get all this set up. It's a lot of work goes into figuring out who's going to make the playoffs. All right. Thanks for everyone being a part of this one. Fox Football Friday. Catch you next week. Same time.